I hear Costa Rica's beautiful. No, I don't say that. I gotta give it. How long it takes you to give it? Aparece mucho del izquierdo y derecho. No sé por qué, pero eso vale, no tira a los dos lados, pero eso vale mucho.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening to you, wherever you may be, folks. Adam Gilson with the Inside Foos Remote Studios, coming to you live from the Tour of Kentucky 2022. We've got a great match here, open singles final. Brandon Munoz has the king seat versus Blake Robertson, coming from the loser side. I'm joined by Mark Torres and Tommy Brewer today. Mark, are you with us?
What's up? I don't know how my audio is, so we'll find out soon here. We got our great engineer, Ashley Lasitra, making sure everything's running correctly. But I'm cool, man. Who else do we got? We got somebody else?
Yeah, we have Tommy Brewer from Florida. Is it Florida?
Yeah, Florida.
Okay.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, Tommy?
Awesome. Trying to stay warm. Freezing here today.
I heard it's almost 65 there. That's awful.
Yeah, 65.
Wow. I'm so sorry.
65.
I'll send mittens.
Yeah. I want to read a little bio that Tommy Brewer wrote for himself.
Yeah.
Basically, let me read it. It says, every once in a while, the universe sends us a phenom. When the stars line up and the constellations point toward Jupiter, and that phenom is me. I'm Tommy Brewer. I'm the greatest.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Tommy.
that wasn't about foosball. That was just in general.
I know.
That's the Mark Torres school.
That's his LinkedIn. That's his LinkedIn bio.
Yeah. So. I love that. Well, folks, let's talk about this match we're about to watch. And in particular, we have a lot of interest in this. In particular, Brandon Munoz. We talked about this, Mark, last year. He had a couple soft breakouts. This could be him. This could be it, especially if he closes.
Yeah, I kind of have a very narrow view of these types of moments because when you're around long enough, you see a lot of guys take second and third place. And for me, it's not a breakout until you win.
Yep.
And this is a regional. It's a big deal. And so I've watched Brandon beat a ton of Masters. Texas State wiped the floor. Colorado wiped the floor. Winning first place against Blake is a different type of milestone. You got past just beating these guys in the middle rounds, and you've closed the deal. And I think that opens up a new level of play and a whole new kind of career. Tommy Brewer, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely it's his moment, right? Like, this is his chance. I know he didn't want to play Tony in the finals. Right? Maybe he wanted to. He's much better off against Blake. And if you look at the bracket that he had to beat to get here, I mean, there's some good players in there, but it's nothing. It was nothing stellar. This is definitely going to be his toughest match. So, like, now's the time. If he's going to do it, everything's perfect for him.
Right.
Now, that said,
that.
I think that the odds are in Blake's favor, right? I mean, we're going to see him score some really cool goals and play fast. And go, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, but I mean, can he really hold Blake off?
Right, yeah, that's a good question. Just to your point, what you were saying, Tommy, Brandon did not really play anybody with the caveat of JLA. Am I saying that right? JLI. It's JLI. Yeah. Who beat Jay beat Tony Sprademan and Kane Gabriel to get to Brandon, and then Brandon pretty much handled him pretty well. So it's going to be an interesting matchup here against Blake because Blake has the toolbox, so to speak, to hang with Brandon.
I think also Blake hasn't won a ton of big singles. Okay, let's talk about the continuum. So yeah. I think Brandon is a pro doubles, pro singles world champion. I think he went to a world. I'm sorry, I should know this better. I didn't do it, but I remember him having a really dominating world championship at the pro level, and that's not unlike back when there was no pro division. That's like winning at the expert level, and then those guys that just stay committed, typically over some time, they get over the hump and they start winning at the highest level, the open level, but not always.
Yep.
Not always. We've seen it over and over. They're my close friends. They won everything at the expert level, and they hit a ceiling and never won anything at the open level. This is a big deal. Now, on the other side of it, Blake, he's an amazing. Gosh, he's one of the best tornado players in the world right now.
Right.
I don't know what his singles success is like. Tommy, do you know? You've been around a lot more than Adam and I over the past 3 years. Does Blake have much of a record in singles?
Blake has a great record in singles. I think for a while he was considered the second or third best singles player on the tour. His performance at the World Cup, I mean, he did great in singles there, right? I mean, yeah. I think the reason that we haven't seen Blake succeed as much as he otherwise would have in singles is the same reason that we haven't seen a lot of people succeed as much as they otherwise would have in singles, and that reason's name is Tony Spridham.
Yeah, right? That's a good point.
And by the way, I wouldn't count Tony out of this one. He could come back.
Yeah, he just yeah, you're right. He can just
Tony's that good.
He's still in it.
He might change time.
Rise from under the table like Jason Voorhees and just start beating everybody. Like never count him out.
It's Voorhees. I thought you made it Latino. I appreciate that. It's Voorhees. No, I think it's a great point. Now we'll talk about milestones. Blake never beat Tony for I think 10 years or whatever the duration he's been playing. Then he beats him the Beachtown Beatdown, and people like to make fun of that because they were drinking and partying. But Blake was very proud of that, and it meant something to Blake, and he beat him twice. And so the win last night against Tony is no small feat. You can say whatever you want, and I was saying a lot of it, by the way. Tony wasn't 100%. Tony something's good, but that doesn't matter. It comes out of the table, and Blake beat him. And after Blake beat Tony, he walked over Jay. He like walked over. So this is a great test. This is a great test for Blake and Brandon. If I'm thinking now, I'm picking Blake, but it would not surprise me. It's like a 55 to 45. I got Blake winning this by a hair.
Right, Tommy. Game score, game count predictions.
Oh no, I'm not good enough at math for that. I mean, I think it goes to the second set.
Second set, okay.
Right, but, and if it goes to the second set, then I think Blake gets it.
Okay.
But that's all I'd be willing to bet right now.
Well, you just called Blake the winner. You called Blake the winner. Work the logic back.
That was not good at math.
Have to come out on fire and win it in 3 or 4 games, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't let him. That's what.
Look at this
kid.
He doesn't want. Look at this kid. This is nasty. This guy's is super talented. Now
predictions, Mark.
I think Blake's gonna get him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Blake's gonna get him. I mean, because you see that, and I've seen so many super talented guys, but it's not the physical ability ends up calibrating and normalizing, and then the guy, the master, the true master wins. And I think the true master on the table right now is Blake.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. Blake is probably easily top 3 in the top 3 best tornado players in the United States, in the world. But to me, what I'm looking for with Brandon is if he can bring the composure that he brought against Jay yesterday, where we saw him play with a level of composure and forethought that I have not seen him play with. If he can bring that against Blake, then we're going to have ourselves a really good match.
I also want to say one thing about that, Adam. I think that's an equalizer. What Brandon brings that I love is the emotional intention when he plays, and Blake is off and on with that. Brandon has a lot of fire, and that could quell whatever Blake's doing. Here we go.
And the way Brandon sets it up with the rollover, and he's really, this is what I'm curious to see what he was doing with that, because what he was doing against Jay, who was showing good defense all weekend, was just pounding these straights. And now he's opening up, going just full on the sides. But
I may change my prediction here.
Yeah?
Well, not yet. Well, watch him throw the rod. Watch Brandon throw the rod. I want to see how Blake responds to Brandon throwing the rod at him.
Yeah, that's good. Good shot selection.
The recoil on the straight See how he
And the
responds.
timeout. Look at this. See, this is good. This is good stuff. So these timeouts, I'm touch and go on these, but this timeout right here, where Brandon calls a timeout because he is trying to manage his own intensity. This is like a Johnny Horton. I got 2-0. I got you. I don't want to be too hyped, but I'm really hyped. Let me step away. I'm so hot right now. I need to walk away from the table.
Yeah. I want to say hi to everybody watching on YouTube right now, and anybody checking out the free stream on Inside Foos. If you have any questions on YouTube, feel free to put them in the comments. I am currently watching them as we go. Blake scores is 2-1 in favor of Brandon still. But you look at Blake. I think Blake has a very underrated defensive goalie position.
If Brandon hasn't been watching, hasn't been watching that, Blake's been doing that to people for 24 hours.
Yeah. His flippy push side. Yeah.
Check your profiles, unpaid and unteamed.
But you look to Blake to start changing his defense and start just timing a little bit better.
Yeah, what I'm looking for is to see how Blake responds to Brandon's attack. Not unlike fighting Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson would be Brandon. Comes out swinging and throwing the train at you, and you get punched in the mouth, and then it depends on how you respond when you get punched. And that's it. Look at that.
And this is how he's.
There it is.
Yeah. Now he's back up a point after being down by 2. Mm-hmm. And that all happened in the span of a minute and 10 seconds or 15 seconds. I mean, and this is high level play we're seeing here, folks.
It's not going to be a long match, I don't think. I think the last match I watched with Brandon was when he played Tommy York at Texas State, and that was it was great. But it was
a barn burner. Didn't that go to all the way to the end?
It went fifth game, like 8-7 or whatever the max points was, and the match was like 12 minutes long.
Yeah, it did not. Like if you went to the bathroom, you missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Blake looks like he's feeling relaxed. He's chatting. He's confident, and that's exactly where he needs to be. I mean, just being Blake, floating out there, free like a cloud,
swanning around as he does.
Yeah. Hollywood
Blake.
Styles make fights, right? Styles make fights, and Blake's doing his thing, and Brandon's doing his thing. They're both playing their game with their demeanor and manner, and whoever keeps control and does what they want to do is going to win. That's where Brandon is lethal. These guys got really fast, really quick, didn't they?
They slowed it down. I think that they were practicing their matrix moves. Folks, we're still working. We're hammering out these whatever's happening.
Look at it normalized. It went from 3-3 to 4-3 with Brandon with the possession to win the game.
Wow.
And that's what I'm talking about right there. So
look at that
it's going to be how Blake responds to that type of aggression. And Blake's a master. And he knows what he needs to do. He needs to be poised and composed and take the shot and roll with it and then fire back. And hopefully that thing brings the best out of him. But right now, Brandon reminds me of Johnny Horton.
Yeah.
Horton, have you ever seen Johnny Horton play?
Mm-hmm.
These guys, man, they just come out punching you hard. You better be able to get back in it.
Yeah, what's the old saying? Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Or get your ear bit or whatever.
The other one is if you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you get punched in the mouth in a fight, then you're a a brown belt. You get punched again, you're a blue. You just keep dropping belts every time you get punched in the face.
Oof.
Great steal there by Brandon, who's been answering every time Blake comes to call.
I got some great feedback here from Terry Rue, who makes a really interesting point and typical. Last night he thinks Blake wins, but today is a hard reset. And Brandon has the edge so far in singles against Blake in previous matches they have played. So I think Brandon has the upper hand in previous matches.
I am interested to see where he goes. Yesterday, Blake was using the 2 to the 5 bar passing series a lot, and then he got one stolen, and now he the last possession he had, he shot with the 2 bar. So I'm interested to see what happens next time he gets it. Blake really does have an outstanding shooting 2 bar.
He does. I was curious watching him play. I feel like those switches that he was doing, especially against Tony, was on purpose. Doing those, going from slingshots to transition.
Yep.
By design. It's getting bricked here pretty good. Brendan, who is not known defensively back there, but is a smart player, and I'm sure has a game plan.
You know what he is known for? Destroying people from the 2 bar.
Right.
That's what he's known for. Not like that kind of stuff right there just puts a lot of pressure on you. And for those of you that are watching Foosball that don't watch it a ton, when you see Blake Robertson with the ball on his 5 bar, it looks like magic. What's happening is he's passing the ball, and where he's passing the ball, there's that beautiful.
There it is again.
Yeah.
So nice.
Slingshot.
What I was saying is, when you look for Blake when he has the ball in his 5 bar, he's passing. He could pass a lane pass or a wall pass from the same position, and that's what keeps Brandon guessing. He doesn't know where Blake's going to pass because he's so smooth and looks the same on the 5 bar.
He's a little tepid with his transition, though, right now. He's not really committing.
Watch the passing here. There's a great, that's what's called the commentator's curse, by the way.
Yeah. Brandon steals it and sets it up all over position.
Yeah, I don't think where Brandon has a definite lead is in the transition game, which where you probably expected. Like right there, he's getting the loose balls, unforced errors on Blake's side. So key point here, right? Blake had a 3-0 lead, and now it's 3-2.
All right, looks like we're in real time now.
Ooh. So after a 3-0 lead, right? Now it's 4-3.
Some serious hustle on the left side of the table.
Munoz setting up rollover position. Looking.
Has he got that timeout in him?
No. Whoa.
Need it, doesn't use it.
Recoil. Lifted up the table. Yeah, that is some fire and energy right there coming from Munoz.
So Blake had a 3-0 lead, man, and if you can't close that 3-0,
Right.
you know.
And
That's a
more
rough
so to
one.
that, and take a step back in the game number one, Munoz had a 2-0 lead, and then Blake came back, and then Munoz came back. So Munoz is showing that he is game.
But if you get granular about it, Blake had some transition turnovers from his 2 to the 5, was slow to the rods, and Brandon has faster hands. So if Blake either needs to commit to shooting, or if he's going to go 2 to the 5, he's got to clear the 3 bar. You're going to go 2 to the 5.
Yeah. Yep. Blake passes, catches on his 3, sets up rollover position. Blocked by Munoz. See if he can finally penetrate, and he does. Pull side.
I wonder if one of the mistakes is Brandon's going to outplay him in the transition game, and Blake's got to not try to play fast against Brandon. I mean, yeah, Blake plays fast, but he doesn't. Right there's another one, right? There's another one.
But he doesn't play fast. Yeah, that was the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Soft stuff.
Soft stuff.
No. It's got to really make. See, yeah, it's because he keeps quick shooting. Setting it up, doing those quick shots, push side is just not working for him.
I'm actually not as concerned about what he's doing on the 3 bar as I am what he's doing the 2 bars.
Oh.
Like, I was getting beat on the
Massive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead bar pull kick. Block takeaway. See if he continues that 2 bar offense.
So this is where Blake shouldn't be rushing it. He shouldn't be rushing it on the 2 bar because he's losing the 2 bar battle.
Yeah. Tied it up 2-2 here in the third game, with Munoz leading by 2 in the set. First game.
No.
Munoz manages to grab it back, see if he can poke one through. And he does to go up. If he can, we want to go up another point.
Wow. Yeah.
He was working middle holes yesterday a lot too.
It is. Nice timeout. Yeah, he's playing methodical, mechanical, cool, but still fiery. He's breaking the laws of physics, folks. I'm getting tingles.
It has been interesting to watch. I think it was TKO maybe 3 or 4 years ago, which was the first time I ever saw Brandon play, and he was all fire, right? All speed. And now he's got a little bit of the cerebral mixed in with it too. And
Yeah.
Cerebral is key. Yeah, that's the most important part. All those abilities are just ingredients without a binder. You bring the cerebral part in, it's
This is the possession right here. This is the possession right here that Blake can't afford to rush this possession.
Yeah. And he did. Wow.
He got
On
very
goal.
lucky, man.
On goal. Wow.
whoa,
And that paid off. That paid off, but still, that's the kind of thing that's going to hurt him later.
Yeah. Oh, little fire
I
from
like
Blake.
that. Let's hear it.
I heard
Yeah,
it.
you
Yeah.
Yeah, he can punch to the jaw, man. It's got
He
to
is.
fight back.
Yeah. This is where you got to remember who you are.
Watch Brandon scores this.
Yeah.
You see what he
Oh.
did there? Oh, man.
all right, if Blake
Robinson, of
wins
course,
this game, does that change the momentum?
Only slightly. Only
slightly.
slightly. 'Cause what's
Slightly.
happening
If
right
he's-
now is Brandon's hand speed is just too much.
Yeah. I would say Blake would have to go up 2-0, 3-0 in the next game for the momentum to be fully switched. But it would be a slight change. But Munoz, of course, has got these banks.
So, yeah. And that possession right there, Tony would grab that on his 2 bar. by the way. That's not leaving Tony's area, you know?
Robertson. Ooh, quick shot, switch side.
I
There
get
it
to
is.
throw the rod at each other. See, this is good.
Yeah, I like
Throwing the
that.
rod at each other. Like if I'm Blake right now, I'm reminding myself that I'm getting beat on the 2-bar. I'm going to go 2 to the 5, clear the 3 rod, or commit. Like I'm shoot. I'm going to shoot on goal, and I'm going to get back quickly because he's not going to win the transition game versus Brandon. Brandon is
Right.
faster hands than him in singles. Period.
So is that going through his mind? Is that going through Robertson's mind right now, Mark?
I don't know, but you got to have a lot of like easy for me. I'm armchair. I'm not in
Right.
the stress.
Yeah,
I'm not in the
sure.
trench when they're fighting. Maybe he's just filling himself with emotion, which is not as bad. That's not bad either. Playing with emotion will increase your hand speed if you can control it, right?
Yes. Yes. Munoz starts game 4. He's up by 2-1. Game count.
That's the one, man. That one right there. He practices that one. It's brutal. You see him doing it before the match starts. He just crushes the dead bar full kick.
Blake adding a little bit more walking around to his shot. Munoz on the 5. Taking his time. Munoz gets the same shot second time. Calls a timeout. That's a good timeout. 2-1. He's feeling it. He is, 3 points away from the championship?
I like when Brandon gets like this, frankly, because I don't think we see enough people throwing the rod at each other. It used to be a thing during the pull shot days. People recoiling, throwing the rod at each other all the time. It was, it's kind of like an eat it kind of thing.
Yeah. Blake is rushing.
Yeah, he's rushing. He's feeling the heat.
Yeah.
It's different when Blake is playing fast at his own pace and self-determination, and when he's rushing. It's not the same thing.
You can feel it. And basically, Brandon has been doing much better in the goalie position in the backfield.
That's what we've talked about that.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what we're
catching.
talking about.
He's catching those. He's catching those transitions from Blake and then converting. That's a recipe for disaster for Blake.
Sorry, Tommy, were you saying something?
That was a critical point, right? Like that. Blake has to change a lot to come back from that transition error right there.
Yeah, yeah.
But they've been cumulative. It's why he lost the first 2 games.
Yeah.
And that's one of the difficult things to do. Oh no!
Wow, championship point for Munoz after a stuff. Again, he nullified Blake's 2-bar. Is what he's done up at this point.
Oh, that was nice. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Congratulations!
Wow.
We all had
Congratulations
to win that. Yeah, man, amazing.
No, Brandon Munoz wins the Open Singles at 2022 TKO Tour Kickoff in Lexington, Kentucky. And he does so in convincing fashion. Tommy, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'd like to say I was right, but no, I was wrong. If you'd asked me who I thought was going to win, it would have been Blake. But I think we did say that Brandon was going to have to win it fast, and that's what he did. Yeah. He didn't take time to breathe, no time to have a jerk dig for a moment where he remembered who he was. He was like, I'm badass. He just kept on the pressure.
Yeah, Mark?
Yeah, as soon as I saw the first ball and I saw Brandon throw the rod, I started thinking about changing my pick. I mentioned it immediately. I'm like, wait a minute. So if he's going to come out throwing the rod and Blake doesn't, depending on how Blake starts responding, if Blake responds flat, it's going to be a rough ride for Blake. So my initial pick was Blake, and I'm staying with that pick. That was my pick. But it became apparent early on that Brandon had some emotional element that Blake needed to respond to. And, Terry Roos said it best in a message to me as the match started that last night he thought Blake would win, but today it's kind of a hard reset, and you got to find, especially if you're kind of like burnt out, really, you're in a burnt kind of like flat thing going on, and you got to rise to it, you got to build up to it. Brandon came ready to fight, and Blake was kind of the games were close anyway. I mean, 3-0 lead, 2-0 lead. Just get outplayed, man. You got to. Congratulations, all kudos to Brandon Munoz for getting over the hump and winning a big singles match, and Blake's got some work to do to get to be more ready in a final like this.
Right. And I would add, I think that this is the official breakout for Brandon. Blake is no slouch. The people that Brandon had to beat to get here, he had to stay focused and do that thing where he adds that ingredient that adds the cerebral nature to the hand speed and talent that he's always had. And I think we saw that. He had a game plan and he stuck to it and he won. So congratulations to Brandon Munoz.
I think I've got to go back to Blake's got to go back to the drawing board and realize when he was playing Brandon, and Brandon's playing a fast transition game, he's not going to match that transition game. And so rushing your 2 to the 5 just ended up being cumulative turnovers. His hand speed getting back wasn't as fast as Brandon's. So everything's heading toward Blake's goal, and he's not getting the saves. You got to what Blake needed to do was take a timeout, take a deep breath, and take complete control of his 2-bar game. I need to take complete control here. I got to use 15 seconds on my goalie game. I can't do everything in 5 seconds. That was his downfall this match.
Yeah, that's what that came down to, and also just completely dominating the transition game. That was just good play all the way around for Brandon.
Do we have a mic so we can hear what the support group is saying? I mean, maybe.
I don't know if we want to hear.
They're talking about Mississippi gumbo or something. Is that a thing?
What?
Yeah, they're putting together a lunch order.
A lunch order.
What do you guys want to eat? Do you want to eat a horse or do you want to?
If I'm going to do bad lip reading, I think they're talking about etouffee. And yeah. So that's good.
Tommy, let's bring it back to you, man. You've been playing more singles than Adam. I haven't played a singles event in 15 years. Okay, what did you see, man? What did you see in that singles match?
I mean, I saw. It's hard for me to judge these guys, right? Like, I'm an expert. I'm a low life in comparison, right? But if you ask me what I saw, it looked to me like Blake was a little wishy-washy on his transition game, at least from the back, right? He didn't know if he wanted to pass or shoot from the 2-bar. And I have to say, I think, like, if he had decided one or the other, he would have performed better than going back and forth. I mean, I'm not sure if you can serve 2 masters like that. Whereas Brandon knew what he was going to do going into it, right? He's going to do monster pull kicks. He's going to hit bank shots. And he stuck with those things, right? All of his shots started in the same position. He had like a uniform plan that he wanted to play along to, and he did. Whereas Blake was a little bit more free form. And a lot of time that's his style, but I think maybe it got away from him. But again, I don't know. I'm an idiot. Blake's a genius, so...
No, it got away from him. No, it got away from him. It did.
Tommy, you don't have to be as good as these guys. You don't have to be as good as these guys to pontificate or be. Look what I've done for 20 years. I just talk all kinds of crap. I have no idea.
Yeah. That's why I'm using. That's why I'm using that caution.
Yeah.
You're the motivation for my disclaimer.
Wow. Good job, Mark. That's good. It's a legacy, man.
Inspired it. No, but I mean, like, do I think that I had a better plan than Blake going into that? No, probably not. But it seems to me that retrospectively, maybe he'd come to that conclusion. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, you're right. It's always easy for us in the peanut gallery to talk about what people should be doing, but having been in the trenches, it's a blur, man. Like that 30-second timeout feels like 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to make a plan in that 30-second timeout. I try to coach people, and Adam's aware of this. Like, you got 30 seconds. Your first 5 seconds, if you're going to panic, you got 5 seconds to panic. After that, you need to start being poised. So let's break up the other 25 seconds into some strategizing and then some breathing at the end to recollect. But you can't panic for 30 seconds.
No. And at some point, you're punch drunk, right? I mean, that first match was pretty quick, right? Blake would have needed a lot of presence of mind to call himself back to the table and not panic, or at least not totally rethink himself.
Can you imagine, though? I just had this idea. If you're in a professional football game and you call your timeout and all you did was panic for the entire timeout,
you just scream and rend your garments.
The whole team just breathes into a paper bag.
and they get there and they put their head between their legs and they just hold on.
There's no whiteboarding. There's no play calling. Nothing. Just like sitting there breathing in paper bags,
fanning themselves.
Yeah, chewing on the fingernails. That's all the stuff I would do, anyways.
That's all the stuff I ever did.
Right. No, dude, you would go do a bungee jump off a freaking stratosphere.
That's
Tommy,
cool, by the way.
Mark and I won pro doubles at Hall of Fame in 2005. And before the match, he calls me in my room and he goes, "Hey man, I'm gonna go jump off the stratosphere before the match. You want to come?" And I'm like, "Dude, no, I want to win this. I don't want to die before it. What are you doing?" But that's just how he rolls.
Mark doesn't care about a pro doubles title.
I know.
Before our final, I bungee jumped off that thing 3 times.
Like, 3 times?
Yeah, you can just keep going up and jumping off it.
Were you just doing that for fun, or did you actually care about the title?
Well, I think it was both. I think I was doing it for fun for sure, but I don't want to be thinking about foosball. It's different. Yeah. The other thing, and Adam will also attest to this, when I call timeout, you might as well have my cell phone number because I might not come back. You got to find me. So get a judge, because if I call timeout, I need my time, and I'll call a 3-minute timeout. I don't care. Get a judge.
That's really funny. You're a funny guy. Well, gentlemen, I don't know. Mark, there's a lot of other matches going on today. The Open Doubles is starting. A lot of the other events are starting. I know Pro Singles is going on right now. We are not going to be commentating much longer, I don't think. I'm going to be coming back at 9 o'clock local time. It's 9 o'clock Eastern. And I believe Tom Robinson and I will be there. But, Mark, I know you're going to be on later, right?
Well, check this out. If you want to stick around, Clay Toomey's going to join. And not long. Clay's going to join anytime. And we're going to be testing out Dave Z. He's a brilliant guy. His statistics.
I saw.
It's sick. It's super cool, man.
No, it's folks, if you're... Yeah, the Inside Foos TV Facebook page has a small sampling of this, and I am deeply intrigued by it because that's going to allow us to move. We've already been kind of doing it, or Clay does it a lot, but moving from a qualitative or quantitative way of understanding what we do when we play foosball versus just the kibitzing we do after a match, I think is going to potentially do for foosball what sabermetrics did for baseball.
Make it boring.
Whoa, dude! When was it ever not boring? What were they not there? I love baseball. Don't get me wrong, but
Well, okay, I'm with you on this. Does this sound right? The best way to make something that's already kind of boring less boring is to add math. Is like math the solution?
Why do you hate math? Why are you anti-science, Tommy? I don't get it.
He's a philosophy. He teaches philosophy.
Oh, is that what that is?
In Latin.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you what, dude, that's my jam. Dude, philosophy is my jam, and Tommy and I have already gotten into it about By the way, we got to talk about that at some point, Tommy. I want to know your feeling on my idea of the categorical imperative using specific acts.
Yeah, but let's not entertain everybody at home with that.
Yeah. Hold on, let's talk about this.
You see how that made it more interesting, Adam?
Yeah,
that does.
Hey, when you order sandwiches, Tommy, do you get them a la Descartes?
Oh,
yes, folks.
Hey, listen, let's bring it back to foosball. Terry Rue sent me another message, and I think it's absolutely true, and it's critical. This is what Terry Rue said. Costa Rican foosball players start the first point like it's championship point. They begin the match like they are in the 5th game. Everyone else but Tony Spredeman and Tommy Orr all start out slow against the Costa Rican players. T-Mac and I noticed this at Texas State. You have to understand that going into the match with that mindset. They're going to start off like it's match ball on ball one, and that is championship play. That is Federico Collignon. That's Todd Lafredo. That's match ball is the first ball. So you can't afford to start off slow against them because they're already fighting for their lives, and it's the first possession.
Yeah, that's a great point. And and that's how I was taught to play growing up. Like that was like, but to bring that full circle, that was what my dad and them taught me how to play because they were all influenced. They all played tournament soccer back in the '70s, but they were all influenced by the players from Costa Rica, actually, Mario Bonilla. That was how they all played, and that's how I played. Every ball counts, just straight from the beginning. So yeah, thank you, Terry Rue. And too bad you didn't text that to Blake, I guess.
Yeah, man. He knows now. I hope he knows
I think
now.
hopefully everybody knows now that was watching that. But yeah. But so I don't know what is coming up here on this. Wait, so Mark, does that mean you're going to be sticking around for a while? You're not logging off?
Yeah, I'm going to see other matches to be called.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Let me look right now.
Tommy, you're welcome to stick around until Clay shows up.
Then you got to go.
I'm always interested to see what Rick Macias does while practicing, right?
Oh. If you want to commentate.
He just does such weird stuff when he's playing that, what does he do when he practices?
Well, let's find out.
That.
Let's tune in. Sets it up, push shot position. Nope. What was that?
It was this very slow slingshot.
Did he do it? I thought he was slinging the shot. Yeah, that was smooth.
Yeah.
Reaches for the ball.
Why do people bail on the slingshot? Are they really expecting a push kick? I mean, Tommy, do you have a push kick?
No, not a good one.
So just until I see a push kick, why do you even jump for the slingshot? What's the point?
I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that Rick has a push kick, and I don't.
I think it's it's like ancestor memory. Like, how we're inherently afraid of snakes? We just inherently assume they're going to do a push kick. Huh? What do you mean,
are we inherently afraid of snakes? I love snakes.
I hit a slingshot all the time, but I never rely on when people are going to jump. I hit it when the hole's there.
That's weird.
Right?
That's the opposite of everything I know about foosball.
There's a giant gaping hole on the far wall. A slingshot will do it.
Yeah, but don't you know what a trap is?
It's a trap.
All right, this is great. Anybody on YouTube have any? I love YouTube commentaries.
Hey, there's another guy in the picture, and I guess there's another singles after senior singles, and it's like super senior singles. I don't know if this is what's going on right now, but that dude right there he's 10 years older than Rick. And Rick is
by the looks of those cargo shorts and maybe some Crocs.
How many
senior singles?
How many pockets are in the cargo shorts? That's how you do the aging. It's like dendrochronology.
What kind of candy is in it? Is it a Werther's?
Is it a butterscotch? Tommy, that's insensitive.
What kind of candy?
Werther's is delicious. That's my favorite. That's not my favorite candy. I'm trying to.
That's not my favorite. You're welcome.
What kind of candy are in the pockets?
And how many pockets are there? So, obviously, open singles just finished, but we still have expert singles going on. The Friday DYP pro singles is going on. Let's see how the pro singles is going. Mason Graham is sitting to play for Kingseat. Oh wait, no, did he? Let me see here.
So, Tommy, were you listening last night when we got into this whole exchange? I got into this exchange with Chase about how the pro events are kind of comical. You listening?
When you told him he wasn't a pro?
Yeah.
I wonder what his Dear Diary looked like after that.
He kept asking for it. Dude, this is where it ended. My body of work obliterates your body of work, and I'm not a pro, so you're not either. I try to be kind about it.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. You really...
That was kind? What would you have done would you have salted the earth where he lives if you were being mean? Jeez. Anyways.
But the point being, if I told Tom, if you knew the genesis of these other events were because people couldn't beat the Masters, that's what it was. They created the pro event because the experts couldn't, or the whatever. There was a whole bunch of people that couldn't beat the Masters.
Yeah.
Would that change your perspective of the event?
I mean, no, because I assume that that's why they're all there to begin with, right? Like, what other reason could there be other divisions? Right?
Good point.
Like, so that's not a surprise to me. Like, I play in my own division where, like, with padded walls and padded floor, and because I'm not gonna play open singles and do well in it, or open doubles,
How many divisions should we create? Should we create 40 divisions?
No, I don't know, but there has to be some kind of medium where people still have a reason to go to tournaments and play and compete, where it doesn't get to the point of absurdity.
I think I solved for that. I really do. I think the solution is making it more difficult to become a pro, so you have a reason to compete as an expert. And if your milestone is becoming a pro, then make it more difficult. Because as it stands now, it's easy. It's incredibly easy to become a pro. Right?
Yeah, well, I can't speak to that, but it has been incredibly easy to become an expert. I think I was an expert in 3 years. I mean, you can't become an expert at anything in 3 years, except for foosball.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're using words like that.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. No, but you know what I mean, though, right? Like,
yeah, there's probably a little bit of ambiguity there that I'm capitalizing on. Maybe that was kind of, relying on 2 meanings of the word expert. But I mean, so for most people who are my rank or who become pro, what is the real motivation to keep coming to these things that are 4 or 5 days long when you have essentially 2 events you can realistically compete in?
Dude, do you hear what you're saying, though? You were like making my argument for me.
Yeah, well, I happen to agree with your argument.
Yeah. Mark, do you just assume everybody disagrees with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes it more fun for me. It makes it more fun for me.
No, you know what? And honestly, I didn't start trusting my wife until like a year ago, so I know. Hey, so you guys, just talking about ranks. I mean, you two, do you know of anything coming up that's like looking at ranks, but maybe kind of looking at these things in a different format, or how these tournaments work?
You mean the Thunderdome event? Tommy, why don't you talk about the Thunderdome event for a minute?
I've never heard of the
the what?
I'm just wondering, because doesn't it seem like, and I don't know because I haven't dug that deep into the Swiss system, but if everybody was doing the Swiss system, does that mean ranks no longer exist? Or how does that work?
Not necessarily. Tommy, why don't you go ahead? Let me hear your thoughts, Tom. I'm talking too much.
Yeah. I mean, I think you need a different way to calculate ranks than the current one, because the current one, the gain and loss in points, if Clay's explained it to me correctly, and he's explained it a couple times, so I think I've got at least a decent understanding of it, is it relies on the double elimination format to add or take away points from a player's score, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if Swiss can account for that.
Yeah.
In the same way. Again, we're back to math, which is my natural enemy.
I could tell. He really starts talking a lot slower when numbers start appearing in front of your brain.
No, I was a physics major at one point, and then I just didn't
How'd that work?
Math for a long time.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So I don't see any matches being called. You know why? Because they haven't put in the results for Cable 1.
I think that the math takes you to a certain point, and then the human element has to kick in and matter. And that's why I like the math to get you to a certain point, like just before you can turn pro. But you can't turn pro until you start winning. And that's the human element. If pro is 3,000 points, you can get to 29.99 and stay there for the rest of your life. And in order to get that last point, you got to show you could win as an expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ideally that would be the way, right? These titles are something that mean something, right? They're benchmarks that or badges, if you want, like that you pick up throughout your career, and adequately judge your performance based off. It shouldn't be easy to just go up in rank from amateur to expert or expert to pro, but it kind of is, right? Like
it's super easy. Are you kidding me? It's
super
easy.
majority round.
And that's what's that was the whole crux of the discussion last night with Chase. If you're proud that you achieved the pro rank, we are going to ideologically disagree. So Chase is bold enough to say, I'm a pro because I took third in pro singles and won a couple of state titles, and I'm like laughing in his face. I'm like, dude, like, and then he says, I never won an expert event. And then you're surprised because you can't compete in the
I think
open
he
division?
said that because he was an expert and then won a pro event and then just got bumped up, right?
I guess so. I think
Yeah.
he said. I think he won a pro event, won one pro event, never won an expert event, and I think he made some claim to some local, regional, state stuff. Someone was bashing him from Florida, by the way. Someone was bashing him from Florida in the private messaging, and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna give Chase all that.
Was it me?
No, it was not.
I don't know what I did last night. It might have been me.
Did you wake up on this call, Tommy?
Yeah, I just, what am I doing here? How did this?
Yeah, we've all had those moments.
I was aware. I remember last night enough to know that you guys all had a good laugh over Chase Penile. That was
No, that's sophomoric humor. I'm not a fan.
Check out what we got in front of us, you guys. You know what I love? I love watching a great push shot these days, and that push shot is Sullivan Roos. So I don't know what event this is. Is it women's
They're
singles?
talking.
final?
No, there's another event going on. I think they might be having a conversation, or maybe I don't know, because there was a match. Maybe they moved the match because it's Hannah Smith and Sullivan Rue versus Maggie
Maggie
Strong and Dusty
Dusty.
Vandenek. Yeah, I think maybe they moved it. It was on a different table, but maybe they moved it to one.
Nice. Thank you, Ashley. If that's you, keep bringing the matches.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
Check the profiles.
But
It is.
folks, I actually have to get going here. It was a lot of fun. I know I'd love to, but I'm going to be back again tonight at 9.
I didn't say stay. I just said I don't want you to stay. I want you to get out.
Ouch. Dear
Just kidding.
diary.
Just kidding.
But I know that there's another person waiting in the wings to come in, and whatever happens, Tommy, don't do any more math, because we don't want that for the audience out there,
nope.
or for each other. Women's open doubles. All right.
There it is.
All right. Okay, folks. I will see you all later on this evening. And Mark and Tommy, thank you. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out, Adam.
Bye, Adam.
Bye-bye.
What are we doing here, Mark?
Stick around, brother. We're gonna do this match, and then I think Clay will join, and we'll probably go with Clay and me after. But I'd be excited if you stuck around for this women's doubles match.
I'll hang out for this match. I want to see this one. I always like watching Maggie Strong play. She is.
You should.
She is intense.
So, as a reminder, Maggie Strong will be a competitor in the Thunderdome. And the way the Thunderdome event works is, in the math so far has been playing out. You're playing in the Thunderdome, obviously. A lot of you guys are going to be playing with each other and against each other, like a lot. Like half the bracket is going to play with each other, and everybody may play against each other at some point because we're doing a lot of rounds. So you get to look at Maggie's game now and think about how you guys can help each other when you're on the same team. And, of course, how you can hurt each other when you're on opposite teams.
Yeah, right. Well, I have a good idea about that. The way to help Maggie best is to just get out of her way if you're her partner, right? Give her space, let her make the calls. She's smart, she's aggressive, and let her know she's in charge. Like, just you be in charge, take the reins, and she's going to take you in the right direction. Right? You can ride her carriage as far as you want to go. And if she's feeling confident and if she's feeling like she's in control, she is tough to stop.
Oh, man, you're so right. Remember on the radio show, and I think you listened on the podcast, she's very clear and very definitive. She said that I want to go in with someone I know who's dedicated goalie, because if I go someone who I can switch with, I may start looking to that person to bail me out. And when I know I'm in charge, I don't have to worry about that. I know it's all on me. I got to carry the whole thing. And so that's a very self-determined identity on the foosball table. Right?
Yeah, and I've played with her a couple times. I played with her at the beatdown, and she does take all the responsibility on. You know, she knows what she has to do, and if you don't get in her way, chances are she'll get it done. This is a tough team, though. We'll see how it goes. Hannah and Sully are monsters.
Yeah. Dusty had a great run with Kane Gabriel. I actually had a big match against them at the Worlds in open doubles. Like, to get to like 9th, I had to play Kane and Dusty, who had won an open doubles or something like maybe months before. And Dusty is a great goalie. Great goalie.
Yep. Well, you just cursed her. You jinxed her, Mark.
I know the commentator's curse. It's not a real thing, but it feels like it.
Oh, it's a real thing.
What's up, Clay?
That's definitely a real thing. What's happening, man?
What's going on, Clay?
Come on, man.
How goes it? What we got going on here?
I'm going to take this opportunity to take care of something real quick. Tommy and Clay, please take over for. I'll be back very soon. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, this is going to be a math. This is going to be a pop math quiz because I know this is Tommy's favorite subject.
Awesome. The answer is
pi.
Always the imaginary number.
Yeah. What is it? Pi? You said that's imaginary?
I. Square root of -1. That's my answer.
Square root of -1 is I. Cool. What does I actually stand for, by the way?
Imaginary.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's made up.
That sounds made up.
Yeah.
So we'll go with it. What we got going on here? I just rolled into town. I'm just landed. What match are we watching here?
Winners bracket for third. Sully and Hannah versus Dusty Bambanek and Maggie Strong.
Cool.
And it has the potential to be a very good match depending on how the team on the right stacks up.
Yep.
Because I think everyone would agree that the team on the left is a pretty strong favorite here.
I think so. Defending world champs.
There it is. But Maggie she keeps getting these pickups. I mean, she might be able to stay afloat just from being scrappy. She doesn't give up.
Dusty's no slouch herself, by the way.
No.
This is game 1, right?
Yeah.
3 in the first game?
Yeah.
Let me know how my audio is. I just jumped in, so I don't know if it's too loud, too quiet. I can adjust up or down, by the way.
It's pretty clear. There's a weird kind of drawl on it, though, where
that's just because I'm still on.
It seemed like a word that should take you 1 second to say is taken 2 or 3.
Well, that's because that's how long you need to understand it. So I compensate out of kindness. I'm known as a kind person. Yeah.
Very considerate.
That's how I roll. I love that shot that Sully does. If you get caught in what would be a standard defense for a pull shot, but I think it's probably a reverse for a push shot, she will slide it through that gap.
Yeah.
Just so effortlessly.
I've been embarrassed by that shot from her before.
What's embarrassing about it? It's good.
Oh, it is, but it's just one of those
shot.
shots where you're like, I should have been looking out for that, right? Like,
well, I mean, fool me once, shame on you.
She hits it on you. Yeah.
Fool me twice, shame on you again. No matter how many times you fool me, shame on you all of those times. Just so we're clear, it's never my fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at some point you got to decide: are you going to get caught? I bet Dusty doesn't let another one in. I will say that.
No, I don't think so.
That's one of those things. As a veteran player, you go, you know what? Good shot. You caught me. And good luck catching me. God, what a pass.
That was a great pass. See if Maggie can put this thing away. Wow. Push shot versus push shot.
Yeah. Does she call a timeout? She has both of them. It's 4-4.
If I know Maggie, that's a no. She's not going to call timeout.
Looks like you do know Maggie. And since Jim is not here, I'll go ahead and be the one to say, you know, if you got both timeouts,
yeah, you got
sit on the ball. You shoot the ball. You're shooting to win the first game.
Yeah.
Take about 14 seconds and watch the defense.
Like there.
And call it. And as the other team does it, he will go just like this. This is a veteran play from a young player.
Yeah.
Timeout by Sully. And then he mutes his mic and turns around and tells me to stop talking and
well,
starts cussing me out and throwing things at me. People don't know Jim behind the scenes. It's very mean.
Yeah, he's very mean. Not a nice guy.
Nice.
Ooh,
there you go.
There it is.
And I made light of the timeout and Jim and all that stuff, but I really do believe in that. And I think that in that situation where you have one side of the table shoots for game point, and they, who's to say whether or not they rush it or do whatever, but there's no timeout called. They shoot. They get blocked, goes up the table. Sully calls the timeout, steps away for probably what was like a 15-second timeout instead of a 30-second timeout. And then she shoots to win the first game.
Yeah, that was a potentially match-changing decision right there.
Yeah.
Like,
anytime you can go up 1-0 in games, that's big.
Yeah, that's important, especially against a team like this. When you're sort of the dark horse, you need that win. Yeah, it would have been nice if she'd taken it, but Maggie's intense, man.
So yeah, I wouldn't want to go down 1-0 in a 2 out of 3 to the defending world champs.
No. Did they win? I know Sully won. Did she win playing with Hannah at
Yep.
That's almost not fair, man. They're both so good.
Be like that sometimes. And by the way, something I've learned is that if you don't know whether or not something is true or accurate, and there's an audience listening, you just got to move full speed ahead with whatever you think is right, because that's the quickest way to get corrected. And people, especially on the internet, love to correct. So if you think something's true, just say it. And if it's not true, somebody will let you know real quick.
Yeah. Look at it.
I was going to slide into that. I was going to use that as a good example of how that's true. So yeah, she bounced past underneath the guy that time.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Nice shot. Good. Well, at least they're staying in the fight.
Starting to buffer for me a little bit. I don't know if it's doing that for you as well.
Yeah, did that in the last match as well.
Which is hang tight. A lot of times this happens. I know a thing or two about streaming. Surprise, surprise. Sometimes this could be an encoding thing for the computer that's trying to keep up, and if it does it intermittently, it could be anything from computer temps. When those graphics cards get hot or the CPUs get a little hot, they don't like to be hot. Now we're going to get all caught up in like one quick second here as it.
Right.
And then
I like when it starts speeding up and it looks way more fun.
Yeah.
Double speed.
The thing we don't need in foosball is more speed, because the average player, the average viewer rather, not player, is going to be like already confused. So I'm down with slowing it down a little bit, but it's, as a foosball player, I love when it speeds up like that. It's kind of fun.
Wow.
Really looks like we're caught up here, so that's probably an encoding issue rather than an internet issue, because it. Well, we won't get too nerdy. Well, just that's my official guess.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
out loud.
You're probably right. I have no reason to know it, but you're probably right. All right.
Those turnovers are just brutal. When you have the ball on your 2-bar and you don't get it past the opponent's 3-bar, that is a brutal turn of events. In terms of long-term, you're going to lose the game when you do that more often.
Unfortunately for Blake, he had a couple of those. I'm not sure if you were able to watch the singles.
Yeah, I peeked a little bit. If you blink against those two, you miss most of the match. So
some of the things you might miss were some turnovers from Blake 2-rod to Bandits 3 on a protective 2-5 series.
Blake was going 2-5?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I knew he was going to, but I didn't know. I hadn't seen that implemented yet.
Yeah, he did against, I think he did in a couple matches yesterday, and it worked really well for him, but I think Brandon's hand speed was maybe just a little too fast for it to be reliably used in that match.
I'll tell you, probably another thing, and I'd be curious to hear what Blake would say on that, is how much of that is comfort level, too, because Blake has that. Blake is usually doing that to everybody else. And not probably used to it coming back at him. Whereas in Costa Rica, that's just how they play, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Munoz has that experience, just casually playing against his countrymen. So I see we got some stats now, bringing it back to this match, and these are not my stats. I don't know a whole lot about how these work. Have you seen any these yet?
Yeah,
I see
actually,
a 3-rod conversion rate. I see a 5-bar. These look like passing and shooting, so those are pretty standard. I'm looking at them and reading out loud as I figure out what they are. So these may be fairly straightforward. You got a 3-rod shooting, looks like 5-bar passing, 5-bar block and steal and pass it to the 5. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's a stat for that where the 2-bar goes to pass it to her partner's 3-bar, but Sully intercepts it and then passes it to her own 3-bar.
That's an interesting stat.
Yep.
But this isn't you. Whose is this?
I don't know. This is Dave Z is the name I have.
All right.
And I know Dave by name. I haven't met him or talked to him. And by the way, if I'm correct, Dave can hear us. So thank you, Dave.
Ooh.
Oh, hello, Dusty.
Dusty?
We'll get back to you in a second, Dave. That was a nice push kick from the back, dude. Dusty will do that, by the way. Dusty can play. She does all the things that you want a goalie to do. Block is defense is necessary, but she's clearing the ball. She contains the ball when it comes into her zone. And by the way, this is where Tom Yor would say, call a timeout, because it was 4-2 and now it's 4-4. And instead, Sully puts it in the play, immediately tries to pass, and it gets knocked back to her goalie.
And of course,
we're going to pause for station identification, I suppose. A little internet action on 4-4. Maybe hopefully she calls a timeout so we can wait and see what happens, but not likely. There we go. And that's
All
just
right.
like that. She passes it 5-3 and then knocks it down for the win. That was a close one. That was closer than the score might tell you.
well, I mean, so there was, right? Both games went to meatball.
Yep.
The first game, Maggie had it on her 3 and didn't call the timeout. And who knows where it could have gone if she'd have said, I'm just going to take a couple breaths here.
I know where it could have gone. Whether or not it would have gone there is a different story.
Yep.
While I flex my grammar skills here.
Great grammar
That was a good
skills.
match. How do you feel about 2 out of 3 matches versus 3 out of 5 matches?
Registration is now
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm
You're the
I'm
only one
okay.
here, brother?
I'm okay with whatever. 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 are, definitely a more definitive win. And I'm a learner, right? I tend to approach a player and try to figure them out.
Yeah.
So for my style of play, and like I'm less physically talented and a lot more cerebral. 3 out of 5 is better, right? The more time I get to figure you out, the better it is for me. I like them. Can they drag on? Yes. But sometimes they run a little long for me, at least to find entertaining.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, like the all the open events tend to be 3 out of 5, right? Except for what open mixed. Is that 2 out of 3 open mixed?
No, it's 3 out of 5. No, it is.
Or single elimination, right? It's not.
It's 3 out of 5 single elimination at most IFP events, and I to be honest, haven't looked at the flyer for this one, so I couldn't go. But
I think it's
also 'cause
probably.
don't.
It's probably single elimination.
Yeah, 3 out of 5 single elimination is what it usually is. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it really does make a difference, especially for the lower ranked categories. 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5. It can mean a lot between figuring out a person's tell, or the difference between figuring out a person's tell or getting blown out of the water, or figuring out something that's wrong about your game and making an adjustment, or getting too straighted and being out of an event. But I will always prefer to play more foosball rather than less foosball.
Yeah, me too. I like
3 out of 5 for me. Even if I lose, I'd rather just play more.
If it was up to me, and by the way, hello, Robert Biddy from Odessa. Here's a fun fact, a fun quick aside here. I started playing foosball in Odessa because I was working out there, and I heard about an old pickup game at the local, not Crazy Eights. It was Fast Eddie's, and I thought I was going to go down and whoop up on these old men, and turns out I didn't know how to play foosball. So we got one in the chat. Want to say hello to. I am a fan of longer form matches as well, whether I'm watching or playing. I love, if it's good foosball, I love watching long, like drawn out matches. Like they could be an hour for all I care. I think it's fun. And to be honest, if you're going to play, in these tournaments at the lower ranks, why not give them longer matches as well? Like it's not like it's slowing. People getting to the table slow, that impacts the ability to run a quick event more than the format of the actual tournament. So in other words, if you enforce, this I think you actually have 12 minutes before you're forfeited. You have the 2-minute recall or 10-minute recall, and then a 2-minute final recall before they cancel you. So theoretically, you could take 15 minutes to get to a table and be fine. And so if they were to shorten up how much wiggle room they had there, like if they said, hey, you have 2 minutes once the match is called, they could turn everything from a 2 out of 3 to a 3 out of 5. I think
a player who does that will probably do that for every match they play, right? Like, and then so we have a tournament coming up in February where we're going to try 5 minutes to the table.
Yeah, I'm about that, dude. I love it.
And just crack the whip on them and say, hey, you're here to play foosball, right? Go play. You're up. Don't hold everyone else up just because you want to finish the last half of your cigarette. Go play.
Yeah, it does seem to be what it's usually about.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at more stats here from that match that I'm just peeking at, and these are fun graphics. And I can't obviously don't have a way to add the graphics to the broadcast here, but I like, and I don't know if you have them as well. So the first stats that we have are the passing and shooting, and these are off game one. I wonder if we can get these for the whole match, if that's possible, Dave. But I see we have passing, shooting, and then also 2-rod retention, which I think is probably contains or possibly clears. I'm not sure on that, but we'll find out and let you know. And then possessions across all rod, that's time of possession, I would assume. We love stuff like that. We love stuff like this. Yeah, so we do have it for the whole game. We'll take a peek at those in a second. But I like this one that shows the scoring, like the scoring summary, I suppose. You would call this. I don't see a name on it, but basically who scored and when and what the score was across the whole match. So like if it was 1-0, then 1-1, then 2-1, 2-2, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could throw these graphics on the stream as well, because I love stuff like this. What do you think about adding math to foosball? I'm going to pretend I didn't hear your question earlier, or your answer to the question earlier.
As long as I'm not the one doing it, I'm fine with it. Right, like we can only go up, and I mean, it's probably in the long term going to help everyone make their games a lot more efficient.
Yeah.
Right, with these sorts of analytics. Does that worry me that everyone will just start going 2 to the 5 passing series? Yeah, a little bit.
You're not a fan of the 2 to 5, I take it.
I'm a fan of its efficiency, right? It works. It works great if you do it well. Is there something lost from the drama of like a massive? How fun would the last match have been with Brandon and Blake if Brandon went 2 to the 5 instead of hitting massive pull kicks from the 2 round? I feel like there's something lost, right? You can explain what makes the rainbow be different colored, but like kind of takes the magic out of the rainbow.
Yeah. One thing, and I'm still just kind of scrolling through these stats. You bought me a couple minutes there, so thank you. Here's something worth knowing about 2 to 5 passing by comparison with just 2-bar shooting. The one that you can do is the one that you should do.
Yeah.
So if you can shoot, you should do that. If you can pass, you should do that, because it's so close. The margin of error, the margin of success or difference, or however you want to say that, that's where it is. So, well, I don't know. Is 2 to 5 better? Well, Tony does it, and he beats everybody. Well, Ryan shoots from the back. Okay, well, he beats everybody too. Well, what about when they play each other? That's
Yeah.
pretty evenly matched, actually. And I got news for you. If Ryan's scoring from the back, you're not going to beat him. It doesn't matter who you are. Tony, Todd, anybody. Doesn't matter who you are. And if Tony is passing from 2 to the 5, 5 to the 3, not beating him either.
Yeah.
So the one that you can do, and trust me, I know I'm not a master. I don't pretend to be a world champ contender or anything like that. But one thing I can absolutely tell you with great confidence is I know the math behind this side of foosball. And the one that you can do well is the one that you should do well. Well, what if you can do both very well? Okay, well, fair question. The one that they can't defend is the one that you should do in that case. Well, like it's very simple to make that decision most of the time.
If you can do both of those things pretty well, then you're also good enough to know which one to use and when.
Yeah. And I see a comment here, and we'll just respond. I'm assuming it's okay to respond to comments as we go here because this makes it fun and interactive for people who are watching the stream. And by the way, thank you for watching the stream. And I say thank you, and I'm nice up front because the next comment's not going to be as nice. Anybody who says 2 to the 5 is for pansies, and I'm editing your word there, sir, just doesn't know what they're talking about. I mean, people would say that in any other sport. There's all kinds of things about sports that people don't like. Like people don't like the three-pointer in basketball. They think, oh, back in the 80s and 90s, they'd shove it down your throat and dunk it in your face. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I got news for you. Basketball grew because of the three-point shot, because of offense, not because of Michael Jordan, flying. Actually, that's not true. Michael Jordan flying through the air is the exception, but that's a very rare exception. Okay, he says he's just kidding. All right, we're friends again now.
Walking it back.
I like it. That's the moonwalk. That's what we call the good old-fashioned backup stick.
Just kidding.
Yeah, psych.
Gotcha.
Got your nose. But no, I people do believe that though. So I'm glad you said that because people genuinely believe. Well, 2 to 5 is boring. 2 to 5 is for weenies. 2 to 5 is this or that. And I guarantee you, there's people on the opposite side who say, well, shooting from the 2 bar is all about testosterone and arrogance, and it's dumb, but it's blah blah blah. Neither of those are true. The fact is, the point of the game is what? What is the ultimate goal of foosball? Put the ball in the hole.
Yep.
So whatever gives you the greatest chance of doing that, do that.
Yeah.
It
makes about as much sense as saying, oh, well, a jab. Oh, it's just a jab in boxing. Well,
it's just a jab. Yeah, well, 50 jabs to your nose and you can't breathe anymore. Guess what? If you can't breathe anymore through your nose, where are you going to breathe through? Your mouth. Guess what happens when you open your mouth up? Your jaw gets broken. That's just how it works. So, hey, 50 jabs through the nose, you're going to win the fight. Or let's keep with the boxing, and I don't pretend to be a pro boxing analyst, but guess Mayweather is arguably the greatest of all time, and he does that by dodging hit punches, not even by hitting you.
Yeah.
So
he gets some complaints for it too, though.
But I hate it. I personally hate it. I think it's boring.
Yeah,
his record speaks for itself. Exactly.
All right.
Players in this game on the left, I believe that looks like Jackie Hunt.
Yeah, Jackie and Kristen Grogan.
And I only see, I just see her jacket now, but I only saw her arms there for a second. I recognize her arms. And then that is Kristen Grogan in goal on the left. And then on the right side, playing the black pieces, as we say in chess, is Sullivan, Rue in the forward position, and Hannah Smith in the goalie position. This will not be as quick of a match as the previous match. I'll go ahead and make that prediction right now. Sully and Hannah on the right will still play a very up-tempo game, and Jackie and Kristen on the left are not going to let them as much as Dusty and Maggie did.
Yes, they're going to slow it down a lot.
Yeah. There will be timeouts. There will be 10-second possessions on the 5, 15-second possessions everywhere else, and we'll probably be here for about 30 minutes watching this, which is good. I like it.
There is a decent chance that Sullivan will fall asleep just out of sheer boredom.
So that's what I think is fascinating about watching the top players is, and I do consider everybody at this table actually to be a top player in their event. I think to see how players respond to that. So like a lot of this, the perfect example of this was watching Blake Robertson play Steve Morey at Nationals 6 years ago now, where Blake was pulling his hair out because anybody who knows Steve Morey, he takes his time. I'll just put it that way. And it's a very slow, methodical, put you to sleep kind of game. And he's good at it, by the way. He's a very good player. And I don't think Blake didn't win that match, by the way. I don't think. And it was because he had trouble just staying awake. And the slower Steve went, the faster Blake went. So it's curious to see how people respond to stuff like that. So if Jackie and Kristen on the left slow it down, is that going to affect Hannah and Sully on the right? I don't think it'll affect Hannah. I think Hannah's just going to do her thing no matter what. And Sully might too. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tactical advantage, right? Like you can force someone to play slower.
Mm-hmm.
You can make them play slower, but
you can make them wait.
You have to trick them into playing faster.
Yeah.
Right? Like all Kristen and Jackie have to do is sit on the ball and wait, and not get caught up in the speed game.
All right, here we go. That's about how long I expect most 5-bar possessions to be for. Oh, there's that shot. That's the same one that she scored with against Dusty. And again, I'll say about Kristen the same thing I said about Dusty. I don't know if I said Dustin or Dusty just now because I was thinking of Dustin Gatliff.
Yeah.
But fun story about Dustin later. But Dusty didn't give Sully that shot again in the last match, and I don't think Kristen's going to do it here either. The first one is more like, okay, you got me. My bad. I was not fully paying attention or ready, and good luck doing that again. Nice pass to the 3-bar there.
Yeah, she will definitely be ready next time.
Yep. Jackie has a very good pull shot.
She does. And she shot it faster than I expected her to. I was waiting for at least a 10-second wait based on the couple times I've seen her play before.
Yep. You know what? Just for I don't know the clean version of this phrase, but just for blanks and giggles, I'm going to pull up a stopwatch on my computer here just to see what kind of time we're getting on these possessions. Just out of curiosity. I'd be curious to see if this is one of the things. I believe Dave is tracking time of possession.
Yeah. Oh, Kristen lets it fly too.
Yeah. And I guarantee you the fact that came back to Sully's 5-bar, Kristen doesn't like that because that's not a clear. Even though it went off the back wall, all that stuff, that is not a clear of her zone because the opposing forward got it, passed it, and scored it. So that's a tough one to see as a goalie when you fail to clear the ball, and then it's in your goal 3 seconds later. Nice grab. Kristen keeping it in her own zone there.
There's a nice long wait.
Yep. That was actually a nice. She sat on it for about 5 seconds there.
Yep, 4 or 5 seconds.
And which is a while for her compared to her previous possessions.
Yeah.
And she ripped it long, right? Yeah. And Kristen again with the quick clear, and it goes to Sully's 5 again. So 0 for 2 on doing that.
Yeah.
And this time Sully doesn't.
She knows that those are just basically turnovers. She'll make an adjustment.
Yep.
We hope.
Now you realize you bailed out Mark. Mark was going to be here. When Mark asked me to hop on, I was like, the first thing I said, and he'll verify this. He was like, "All right, you want to do this thing?" Da 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 da. And I said, before I didn't ask what time. I didn't ask anything else. By the way, nice straight by Jackie. I said, "Who else is going to be there?" And he said, "It's just going to be me." All right, cool. I'm in. And not only, also, by the way, to the left, this is not a timeout. This is just them taking their jackets off.
Yes.
This is a perfect. That's like a pro strat right there. It's like, it's not a timeout. There's no reason for me to really take this long to do it, but I have 5 seconds. You know, the rules say that I have 5 seconds between goals, between the the goal being scored and then the ready protocol, so I can wait. And then you know what? I'm gonna wait. And they did take their jacket off, but they could have done. I mean, it's they knew before they're also both students of Todd Lafredo, so that's a Todd thing as well. The mid-game jacket take off.
And you want to reveal your matching shirt strategically at the right
course.
time in the match.
Yeah.
That needs to be.
Foosball needs more choreography.
Yeah, that's exactly. Oh, that was a great pass.
Yeah.
Good catch too. If it wasn't.
I would say that was a pass. From that outside white line in the goal area, chipping it up like that. That's something I've seen Todd do as well. And I'm sure Kristen is capable of that, and Jackie caught it. Sully loves that pass from the second man on that 5 bar.
Yeah.
Straight ahead, and I don't think Jackie's giving it to her.
No, she's making her rely a lot on the lane pass so far, but not that high lane.
Nice fake. Sully's pissed.
I jumped.
She knows she waited, or she knows she jumped out of the way of that. And Kristen's sitting on it. She's gonna wait on that. That was a good 9 seconds right there from the time the ball entered her zone to the time it left. So she's the quick clear might be gone for good this match for Kristen.
It has only just begun for Hannah.
Yeah. I don't expect her to wait more than 5 seconds the entire match, no matter what. And that's not a criticism either. Hannah's good at that. She's aggressive. She knows what she wants to do, and she's going to do it. And it's working out too. And she might step back, call a timeout if it doesn't work out. There's some other things that can come into play there, but I don't expect her to sit on the ball for 10 seconds ever.
Ooh, great shot,
Nice.
Kristen.
Yep. And again, she sits on it for about 6 seconds there, and it doesn't, on the clock, 6 seconds doesn't look that long, but in the moment, especially in a game like this, it feels like a long time. And I think it's anybody who's kind of learning how to play foosball, learning how to do, or even if you've been playing for a while and you're trying to work on time management. I like this timeout, by the way. It's 3-2. It's been a while since there's been a goal. And this is kind of what I was saying a second ago. Hannah might call a timeout. She'll still play fast. She knows what she's doing. She's going to stay aggressive. She might call a timeout and step away and think about something, which is what she's done here. I feel like I did a pretty good Jim Stevens right there. What do you think?
You did it great. You said everything but, no one stroked at home, but, you need to finish it up with a stroke at home.
Yeah, I'm not much for the home stroking. I leave that phrase to Jim. I don't have the guttural that
Strokes.
he has.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah. I'd blow my mic out if I tried that.
That was almost my team name for the Thunderdome Championship.
Strokes at home?
Stroke at home. Yeah.
Stroke at home. All right.
Number 4 seed, Rick Macias.
And again, Hannah takes about 5 seconds, a little less than that actually, before she gets it out of there. Hannah just getting rid of the ball, gets it in her forward's hand.
I feel like it's been a little bit since Sully's had it on her 3-rod.
Yep, it has been.
Oh,
There she goes. That rolling push shot.
Yeah.
It's a brutal shot, man.
it is. And she seems to always be looking for it every time I play her. If it's there, it's throwing it.
Loser bracket, 2 out of 3. Win by 2 in the last game.
I wasn't looking at the screen. I was looking at the clock. That sounded like the long hole, like a spray
Yeah,
to the
that
long.
went all the way. Oh, looks for the straight.
Trying the straight. I think so right there was that same little slice, but the defense wasn't what it needed to be for that to work.
Yeah.
Kristen had both of her guys in the hole there, so that wasn't that ball was not going in no matter what.
That was an educated guess.
Yep. And again, Hannah just getting it and going.
Chad did
That might be
good.
the longest she stayed on it at 6 seconds. I don't expect Kristen to sit on this for a while. And regardless of whether or not she's looking, which she was, and Jackie just wasn't ready for a pass, if nothing else, she's making the other team wait. And the other team's antsy. They want to get the ball and go. I heard a pop from the other table, and I thought she scored.
Thought it went in. Pick up. Solly grabs it. Oh,
Try that again. That shot's not there. It's but the stuff is nice.
Yeah.
And again, that's another quick possession by Kristen where she regrets the outcome.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I don't know if she's consciously thinking that she regrets it, but that's 3 possessions in that match where 2 of them turned into goals against her from just not clearing the ball.
She will come to regret it. I think is the thing. But you were right, though. I mean, Solly has tried that little slider a couple times, and Kristen has closed it down. She's smart enough that you're only going to get that in there once.
Yep. I'm going to do the old swap-a-roo here. Wonder if that means we get the name switched on the screen, too. I don't know how much of a pain that is to switch. I do know how much of a pain it is because I've done that, so I completely understand if they stay.
Is it really changing the chevrons?
Say what now?
Is it really changing what are those called? The chevrons?
What are the
the name things on the bottom?
That's a chevron? I didn't know that.
I
thought chevrons was a little patch that a sergeant wears.
Yeah, it looks like the V, right?
Yeah.
I thought that these were called chevrons too. Maybe someone will correct me
they might be
in the chat again.
Well, here's the way you do it. Instead of saying, I wonder what they're called, you just say the wrong thing on purpose. These are actually called isosceles triangles, is what those are called.
What those are.
Yeah. And so
chirons. They're chirons.
See, there we go. That didn't take long.
Yeah.
All right, we got some stats here. I'm going to pull these up. I'm digging this. So in that first game, the 3-rod conversion rate, which is what I'm going to say is the shooting, was pretty low on both sides. 3 for 11. For Jackie and 4 for 13 for Sully. Those are brutally low numbers, 27%, 31%. You're not winning many games shooting that. That's good defense. 5-bar pass is pretty good, 40-ish on each side. 2-rod retention, and this is I'd love to hear from Dave. If this is clearing, in other words, is this an offensive stat for the 2-rod? Are they clearing the ball out of their zone? Because if that's what that is, both of these are very good, 75% and 71%, respectively for Kristen and Hannah. Those are very good numbers. So the goalie game on both sides of the table right now is very good, and then the 3-bar game on both sides of the table right now can see could stand to have some improvement. And as I say that, Jackie's now 1 for 1.
Great shot.
I've never realized how hard it is to not be negative when talking about another person's game. Because if I was just sitting in the stands and just talking with one of my homies or whatever, I wouldn't feel rude to say, man, they're 3-bars struggling right now. But on a mic, I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
Even though it's true, like it's objectively true, like it's below what it needs to be to win. So I'm struggling to find the nice ways to say that.
You can't just change it and say, "Wow, that's some good D."
Well, sometimes that's true, and sometimes it's not.
And is really building the wall. Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, if it's good D, it's easy to say, wow, that's great defense. You know, if they hit a switch at the right time, or if they bait something and then cover the hole,
Yeah.
you know, right when it's shot, that's good defense, and you can't take that away from the defender. But sometimes you can see, well, she rushed this, she did that, she shot at a hole that's not been there the last 3 times she's tried it, and so there are times to distinguish between, is it good defense or is it bad offense. So yeah.
Kristen tried that chip pass again, it looked like, and
Yeah.
didn't catch it, but still gets to pick it. Oh,
So that is, and by the way, she taps the table. I don't think I need to tell anybody how I feel about that, but I'm going to anyways. Stop tapping the table if you slop one in. If I was in charge, if I was president of the world organized foosball league, if that ever became a thing, that would be a technical. If I was in charge,
tapping the table.
tapping the table, you lose the point, and it goes to the opponent's 3 bar. That's how I would do that, 100%.
Is this just a general anti-sportsmanship thing, or
No, because I think it's bad sportsmanship to say I'm sorry for scoring on you. I'm sorry that you're not good enough to keep the ball out of your goal. That's what the table tap is. It's saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't clean." Literally, that's what it is. My bad. Sorry about that. And in no other sport, you know, you have in like, what's the worst case of this ever happening in, like, the Bill Buckner incident or whatever it is, baseball, was that his name, the dude who had in like game 6 of the World Series or some crazy stuff like that, he let a basic ground ball go between his legs?
yes, yeah,
And the other team celebrated like crazy because they won.
right.
They didn't go tap the table, they didn't tap the bases, they didn't nothing. They were happy, they won. And that to me is what competition is about. So if you slap one in like Jackie did, I would rather see somebody go, like, do a backflip and cheer.
Just
And,
celebrate the
yeah.
slop.
Right. Celebrate the slop. Celebrate the fact that the opponent is not good enough to keep it out. And by the way, notice that Sully did not tap the table on that last shot. I don't think that was the cleanest shot, and it probably was unintentional, and she didn't tap the table. And I support that. Jackie's my friend, by the way. I would say all of this if she was sitting right next to me. So it's not because I'm just saying this from the safety of a microphone.
Yeah.
I think I made myself clear on the table tap.
I'm a habitual tabletop tapper. Pardon the
You're a
alliteration.
table tapper. Okay.
Oh yeah, I totally tap tables all the time. But like I do it whenever something happens that I didn't mean to, that works out favorably for me, right? Not just a goal, but if a bad pass goes through that I end up getting, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I guess it's my way of saying, hey, look, this is just luck that I have the ball right now, right? Maybe it's.
But is it though? Is it really though?
Sometimes, yeah. I think it genuinely sometimes. Like if someone blocks a 5-rod pass and I end up with it, it bounces off their wall or bounces off their 2-bar and rolls to my 3. I mean, yeah, that's an element of luck, right?
Now, well, I will ask you this: how often do you find yourself getting lucky against equally rated players in whatever rank that you're in versus getting lucky against Tony or Ryan or Tommy Yore or Tommy Atkinson? How often do you get lucky against those guys versus the local DYP guys back home?
I see what you're doing. You're trying to trap me.
No, I'm not. I'm actually just making a point that
that it's not always luck, right?
it's rarely. So like that right there, perfect example. She taps the table again. That is not the case of Jackie being lucky. I think that's the case of Hannah not keeping the ball out when she should have been. And it's tomato. You might call that luck. I think that is just a matter of the defense lacked the appropriate skill to keep the ball out.
Yeah,
and that's why she's frustrated.
Isn't that also a kind of luck that you're playing against someone who lacks that appropriate skill?
Well, there you go. That's the big philosophical debate when it comes to the idea of luck in sports. I mean, am I lucky that you can't play defense, or are you unlucky that you can't play defense? Or, oh, there's that shot.
There it is.
and that's when Kristen was finally switched into that that other defense where it does work, but the other two attempts that didn't. But no, back to the other thing. I mean, this is a competition of skill. And the ultimate goal is to put the ball in the hole if you're offense, and the ultimate goal is to keep the ball out if you're defense. So if you're offense right here, I love this timeout, even though it's
Good timeout.
It is 4-4, yeah.
Yep.
I think that when it comes to luck, I think it's pointless to attribute anything to luck in a game like this, because ultimately it's about the skill of keeping the ball out of the goal if you're defense. So if you can't keep the ball out of the goal, you don't deserve to win. Doesn't matter who you're playing. You just don't deserve to win. And on the other side of that, if nobody can block you, you don't deserve to lose. Like, I mean, it's so whatever makes either of those happen, then, and I'm glad we have the buffering between games instead of in the middle of a shot right here.
Yeah, now's the time.
But yeah,
I do see what you're saying. You do have a point, right? But I mean, as a general acknowledgement that I've been benefited and didn't deserve it, right? Like,
yeah,
something fortuitous happened to me that wasn't of my own effort.
Right.
Like if I don't see table topping as a bad thing, right? In that respect. I at least don't see it as saying, "Hey, I'm sorry you suck."
Yeah, well, that's me taking it to the extreme because I just hate the gesture. You tell me this though, what does it say? Because I heard you say something about good sportsmanship. What?
Well, I think it's an acknowledgement that you're benefiting from something that you didn't intend.
Right, and as a defender, why do I need you to acknowledge that?
Oh, you don't? Yeah. Well, it looks like we're
making friends, so there's that.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. And by the way, I love that that is the text version of tapping the table, by the way.
It is.
Sorry
Thanks
guys.
for that tabletop.
Tapping the table. I'm tapping the table.
What I don't know is if that means that the stream is falling apart or if we're just idiots. It could be either one.
It could be both.
Yeah.
It could be both and, it doesn't always have to be either or.
Maybe we're choppy, like the streaming one. All right, good to see them close that one out. We've got a good match now.
But anything, no matter what it is, even in something like poker, where luck does play a greater part in the game, luck is only effective in the short term. If you're better, you're going to win. God, I love that pass. If you're better and you execute and you play better, you're going to win. Luck is not going to make you win a championship.
So what do you think about this? Because I think you might like it. That was a really good pick right there by Sully. Mm-hmm. We have a player who plays locally. He plays on tour sometimes, but he hits a cutback intentionally from his roller. Right, he can go either way and hit it 90% of the time. It's there. He will tap the table afterwards.
Yeah,
and make you think it was an accident. So he can
now that I support. I fully support that.
I thought
I'm on board with that. I'll do that on a straight and tap the table. I promise you, I'll tap it with both hands and take a shoe off and tap it with my foot too if I can.
Yeah,
I support that.
Yeah, and then he knows that hole's going to be open again. It was an accident.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do. I support that fully.
I can't see everybody. Are y'all there?
And by the way, in the chat,
where you like tapping on the table.
Table tapping itself is not always bad. It's the context behind it. And goalie one here in the chat, by the way, says, "Yeah, I don't need you tapping the table, saying that you're sorry. Because are you really? Exactly. I expect that comment from someone named goalie one, and I support it. I agree with it." And then also WY and then a bunch of numbers after it says, "It's kind of funny. I hate people who celebrate their lucky break." That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to celebrate that because you hate it.
Nice steal by Jackie here. So she can turn it into something. Went straight last time. Long was there.
I respect that you're bringing it back to the game, and I'll go there with you.
Well, I saw something pretty cool, so I wanted to address it.
I'd
He's
like
got
it.
a really nice, well-timed wheel. Way to take it away, Kristen.
Has Sully ripped a long one in this match?
Not in this game. She did hit a couple longer ones. I think it might have been 3/4. And that was that rolling push. Oof.
Speak to the devil.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, now I'm in Texas, a couple thousand miles away. There's no way that she heard me say that.
Yeah.
So if we were in the booth, I would wonder if the plastic shield didn't protect her ears from my voice. But that's just a coincidence. And there's a long by Jackie. I like it. I like the input we're getting in the chat, by the way. Enjoy the interaction. Oh, that was the inverted Tony Sprademan lane pass pull kick with Sully going lane pass push kick. I like that.
Nice, Jackie. Fine in the middle.
Yeah. Did
No,
Sully
is
tap
it
the
too, is
table
it
there?
too late though with Sully and Hannah up? At 4-2.
I think math would dictate that they win this.
Yeah,
And I
think
will also say that Jackie and Kristen are never out of a match. They're just too good to just discount and just assume that it's over. So, I mean, Kristen could pass. I don't expect her to really score here or to even try to. I think she's going to pass up to Jackie and let Jackie do what she does. And she does clear the ball. And that's a shot that ends on
shot pass.
Sully's. Sully blocked the pass, and then everybody had a good laugh. And I'm shocked she's not calling a timeout here, and instead just rips it home.
Doesn't need it. She
And
saw what you
they all
wanted,
got the
didn't?
giggles, and
And she
I've
took it.
been there. There we go. Well, I don't know how long the match actually was. I said it'd be about 30 minutes.
I
don't
think
know
you
if we're
were, I
close
think
to
you were
30 minutes.
probably a little less.
Maybe 20, 25.
Look,
Anything in the chat you want to respond to here? There's a lot from what we were chatting about that match.
people do not like your sportsmanship at all. I mean, or at least a person.
Well, then this is another thing about math. We don't worry about the anomalies.
Does it matter? I mean, he said it 4 times. So, do we count that as 4 or do we count it as 1?
Yeah, I don't count it at all. I'm being totally out. No, I'm kidding. I actually don't even see that comment. Where's that? Let me scroll down. There was a lot of action that game.
There was. Oh man, my commentary box has just got kind of tangled up, so not sure if that's due to the stream or what.
Mark has successfully dodged the whole match.
He is. He's taking an
matches.
Actually, you know what he's doing? He's blowing up my my messenger. And it's not about this at all. It's about tournament
Thunderdome?
Thunderdome tournament stuff.
Let's talk about that. What's any news? Any fun things to talk about?
No, man, just a lot of still planning going on. Lots of stuff to stress out about. Moving parts to worry about. Make sure things happen, but it's fun. You know?
If you'd like, we can just turn this into a therapy session if you want to just lay down on the black leather couch here.
You have a black leather? No, I've seen too many. I'm
No,
scared of
that's
black
not-
leather couches.
No. No, I was going with the old school therapy.
Yeah,
Jeez, man.
I know that trick.
You're
No,
gonna get fired. You're gonna get fired.
It's getting exciting. As soon as I get to put in, that's when promoting a tournament becomes fun. Once I get a T-shirt out of it, that's what makes it all worth it.
That's really what we all really care about, anyways.
No, it is something about like having something tangible that's like, all right, I got this. Now it's all. This is why I do it, for the free shirt.
Yeah.
And that happened the other day. A good place with it.
Cool. Is this Tommy Yor that I'm seeing on the screen? It's so tiny that I can't really make it out. But
That is
who is that? It doesn't look like Tommy.
no, that is.
But it's the clothes. It looks like a stunt double for Tommy.
I'll be able to tell you once he looks. Oh wait, no, that's Hannah in the background. That's Bracklin Buffkin.
Bracklin, yeah.
Hannah's
yeah.
friend.
It's her boyfriend.
Coolest name on tour. Yeah, I didn't want to presume. Yeah, boyfriend.
Yeah. That's when you have a podcast and you get to talk to people all the time, you get to learn these things, and you can, don't have to worry about it. So, yeah. I think they've been, I think they're about a year now. Is that Tommy Brewer? I came to the Thunderdome and was 2 and out, but I lived. All right, so I can answer that, Foos Ninja. There's no such thing as a 2 and out at the Thunderdome. Is that right, by the way, before I say that?
That is right, yeah.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a 2 and out.
If you're not having a good day and you're just losing, you're just going to have to keep losing all day because no one goes out.
Yeah.
You can get I went 25-0 at the Thunderdome if you want. Or sorry, 0-25.
0-25. Is there really? That's mathematically possible too, I bet.
Yeah, it could happen.
God, that would be brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a disappointing hang up your wraps kind of weekend.
Sandy, check 20.
Hopefully no one has that.
I can't see anybody from here.
No.
We got another question. Back to the technical. If you tap, see, and this is not my words. I'm reading these words, by the way. They say if goalie one says if instead of a technical, the point just doesn't count. We've actually played like that in some hometown local pickup games. If you tap the table, it doesn't count. And we've also played the opposite, where you tap the table every ball, no matter what, or that doesn't count. We've had some fun around the table topping. Table topping? Table tapping.
Table tapping.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. I can say that. Is there a place to read the T-Dome format, Thunderdome format? Is there somewhere that people could go to see about that, Tommy? Format?
Yeah, the Inside Foos Facebook page and Inside Foos TV has just tons of stuff about the Thunderdome on it. You just scroll down. I'd be surprised if there's information that you can't find there. If there is, then PM me on Facebook Messenger, and I'll respond as best as I can. But I think we've saturated it. I think we've oversaturated it on Facebook over the past couple weeks.
Well, everybody in Foosball knows about it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Let's see.
And that is Mark from Pasadena, Texas, by the way. Says, I'll own it. I also want the drop back. I support that, Marcus. I'm going to say that's probably, instead, can I pronounce it correctly and say Marcos?
Marcos.
I don't know why my tone of voice even changed right there.
It did get a lot deeper.
Marcos.
Yeah.
I support what you're saying, Marcos.
Are you on top of a stallion right now, shirtless?
See. And when this is over, I'm going to really flex my Spanish and say, que tengas un buen fin de semana, amigo. Adiós.
You said that with confidence. Was that?
Yo hablo español. Sí.
Very nice.
Oye la voz. Gracias, amigo. Fútbol de mesa en español. Inside Foos. There you go. What do you say to that, Tommy? Are we doing Spanish for the next game? Is Tony S playing in this tournament? Tony is playing at the tournament.
Yeah.
Daniel, welcome in, by the way. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the comment. Tony was playing singles earlier. I saw him in the booth even. Tony was holding a microphone, doing commentary. T2 point. I don't know if I don't want to butcher your last name, but I'll say it looks like T2 is your first name. Thank you for YouTube stream. I subscribe to Inside Foos, but my internet is too slow to watch it off the website. You could probably reduce the resolution, and I don't know if your internet is good enough to at least hear the vocal side of it, but you can go on YouTube. You can go click the cogwheel at the bottom right of the screen, tiny little settings wheel, and you can change. You should have options ranging from probably 360p all the way up to 1080p, and if the lower that number is, the less demand it'll have on your internet. and you may be able to see at a lower resolution the foosball match. But thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us, Alan. Now this is a name I do know. Alan Montrone says, "I like to tap the table." We're back to the table tapping. Seems that we've got some people sharing opinions on table tapping, and I love it.
Sensitive subject.
It is. It really is. And this happens every time I bring it up. I've been on this table tapping tip for years. I've been having this conversation, so that's why most of my jokes are actually preloaded. I've made them countless times before. But he says, "I like to tap the table and point with the other hand." I fully support that. Before I even read the rest of the comment, I like to tap the table and point with the other hand that I'm tapping the table to let the other team know that since we just slopped a ball in, they can't actually be mad because I just tapped the table. Yeah, so you lost your right to be mad if I tap the table. But I'm actually digging a little that we just slopped the ball in. Yeah,
I like to grind the table with a little hip thrust. I want to hip thrust the table to let everyone know that my testosterone also forgives the foos gods. Hey, what are these stats we're looking at, dudes? What is this stuff? Are you guys looking at this? It's crazy.
I see it on the screen now.
Tell me.
It on the screen. You tell me.
They just came up right before you popped up.
Oh, crazy. They came with
It's
me.
almost like y'all came back together.
So we're looking at 2-rod possession time limit fraction.
Yes.
And it looks like Sullivan, Rue, and Hannah held the ball, but had a lot less time on the 2-rod. And Grogan and Hahn had more time on the 2-rod.
Looks that way.
Fraction of time they had 2-rod possession.
Yeah.
5-rod possession time limit fraction. And I wish I'm going blind is my problem. My vision is bad, so I don't know what the increment of time. Is this a percentage of time? You should probably get Dave Z to help illuminate some of this data. It's pretty cool to look at.
Yes.
Possession time limit fraction. These numbers are so close together. You realize, with the exception of 2-rod possession time limit fraction, you look at these other numbers just by the line graphs, and you realize they're playing the same amount of time on all the rods, right? 5-rod, they're probably passing both on 6 seconds, right? 3-rod possession, they're probably both shooting within 7 seconds. Is that what you guys observed?
Yeah, they were shooting less than 5 seconds most of the time.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that there isn't more disparity between them. I would have assumed that the numbers would have gone up a lot more with Kristen and Jackie being more patient, time-consuming players, right?
Well, is this indeed a time of possession stat, or is this a fraction of some other sort? And by the way, Foos Ninja says these analytics are amazing. Foos Ninja, if you have an opinion or idea on these, feel free to share more.
I'm asking Dave Z, so Dave Z has a really cool system he's using to deliver all kinds of stats. Not unlike what you did, Clay. And
you say you don't like what I did?
No, I said not unlike.
Oh,
not unlike
I thought you said I don't like what you did. Can we not talk about me then? Can we talk about something else if you don't like what I did?
But I'm going to look for Dave to. Dave's going to come in. Yeah, bring Dave's in. Dave,
sweet.
Dave,
let's do it.
Bring it in.
Arthur Mitchell, please have everyone bring money.
I wasn't here for that match, by the way. Who won that
we
match?
Noticed.
I've got a son waking up from a
for
nap.
about 15 minutes.
Dude, you got to roll, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm going to let Dave take my spot.
You're always welcome, dude.
Awesome talking to you guys.
Good time, dude.
Thanks for leaving Clay and I alone. We got philosophical for a little bit.
I'm glad you did. I'm looking forward to hearing the replay, man.
The ethics of table tapping.
The ethics of table tapping.
So horrible.
Que tengas un buen fin de semana.
You know what that reminds me of, Clay, is I don't know when it was. It must have been like 08 or something. You know what? Let's get Dave Z in here. Dave, you there, bro?
Cool. I'm going to leave that little cliffhanger for everybody listening.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll be brief if he's not back. If he's not in yet. Billy Pappas used to wipe rosin off the table, and then somehow it became some kind of weird social thing, like some kind of disease. Everyone started wiping the table. And even Blake has it started off with wiping rosin off the table, and it became a thing that people just like picked up as a addiction. Everyone wipes. Yeah, people used to put rosin on the rods. Did you know about that? Do you remember when people?
Yeah, I did, because Tom Yor still does it because he's old. But that was a joke. You're supposed to laugh, so it makes it okay for me to say that.
I'm realizing we got a big open doubles match.
Yeah,
going on here.
I see Tommy and Kane on the right here, and they are playing others on the left that I don't know their names. I always thought that he's just smoothing out. You know how people keep track of timeouts on the top of the table?
Yeah.
I just assume that that's what he's
no.
wiping off.
No. That's not what he's doing. No, it's a nervous tick, an anxiety tick.
Now, is this your observation or is this what he said?
Dude, it's having played with him and watched him since he was a child. He
So he named it.
Yeah. No, I've talked to him about it. He doesn't.
Good.
He just does it out of You know how remember Frederic used to flip his hair? He takes his fingers.
Yeah,
and
he
flick
would
his hair.
spray himself with a little body spray before the body spray existed, a little spritz right in the face.
Yeah.
And then he would do like a reverse, cross of himself and then like tap 3, like it did run up the like chakras of his face with the back of his fingers.
Yeah.
And then he'd flip his hair like he was Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
And then he'd
yeah.
and then he'd beat the snot out of you on the table.
Yeah.
It was a whole series of events that most of it was unnecessary.
But hey, man, people have their ticks, right? So who do we
Yeah.
got here? We got Kane Gabriel and Tommy Atkinson on the right, and Romantini and Stewart on the left. Are you familiar with these guys on the left, Clay?
No.
Me neither.
And this is the winners bracket. Looks like round of
Round of first.
400. Yeah, it's a few people still left in the winners side. So this may that was a spin, by the way.
Look at Tommy's laughing. Tommy's laughing.
There's no way that he heard me say that, by the way. He spun it and he jarred it, but it landed on the opponent's 3-bar, so nobody cared. Tommy forgot how to hold the ball. He's mad about it. He's revving it up. He's cranking the 3-bar there.
Have you ever seen these guys play together? Kane and Tommy?
This is my first foosball match at all of any kind. Actually, I've
You
never
know-
not real familiar with the rules. And that way, if I set the bar low, Tommy finally gets the ball on his 3-bar via a 5-bar pass, a little tic tac.
Finally, he's
And-
had like 3 possessions already.
Yeah, I know. But from his 5-bar was the important part that I said there. He passed it through. But no, I've never seen Tommy and Kane play together. I've never seen the guys across the table either. So this is a complete novel experience for me, I'll say. WY in the chat says that those are just rituals. It's like a pitcher routines before throwing or a batter's procedure before. Yeah, I agree that it's like those things, and I also think that those things are completely neurotic and unnecessary. And hockey has it even worse.
How so? I'm not familiar.
Oh, hockey! They won't even. It's an entire team. Next time you watch a hockey game, notice that the goalie comes out onto the ice before anybody else on their team. It's a superstition-rich sport.
I get it.
Way
I
more
see,
than
I see.
baseball. Way more than
I see.
baseball. But who cares? If you get to that level, man, you can do whatever you want, dude. As long as it's within the rules, it's all good.
Romatini or Stewart, whichever one that guy is. We gotta get some more detail here.
Yeah, we're gonna say we just call them yellow for now.
Yellow.
They're playing the.
This is where we'll miss Jim, right? Because Jim knows everybody's names. He knows who's who.
Jim, it's not that he knows everybody's names. He knows most people's names. But if he doesn't, he has the presence of mind to look at the bracket and know who he's talking about before he starts talking. So that's credit to Jim for his preparation when he needs it, and which is what we haven't done yet. So I actually don't know on the because on the way that the names are listed, I'm not sure who's playing forward or backward, forward or back, and I also don't know their first name. So apologies in advance if they happen to watch this back and are completely
It's
pissed
called the
off.
team. The team of Romatini and Stewart.
Yeah.
Maybe someone in the chat can let us know if the
We
goalie.
can let's just call him Stewartini, man.
Stewartini.
Yeah, Stewartini.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's very 2022. It says, Why says I think it isn't really superstition as much as consistently. No, it's definitely superstition. Getting in the same mental space. Yeah, it's in hockey at least, and also baseball. It's absolutely superstition. Like ask a pitcher why he won't touch the foul line when he's walking out to the mound, because it's bad luck if he does. And when I pitched, I would drag my entire foot across the foul line. By the way.
I like it.
Yeah, just to say that, Santa Claus is not real, neither is the Tooth Fairy. Superstition it's in your head.
So we're looking at some interesting things going on here. Tommy's shot like 40 pull shots, and he scored 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he's getting one thing about Tommy, though, the big difference between him and the 93 Tommy is he had a lot more endurance to do that. And I don't know if Tommy has the gas And maybe he'll switch to his rollover at some point, but he can't just keep swinging the rod like that, missing over and over. I don't think he has the endurance that he did 30 years ago to wear himself down like that.
And I like that the word that you use there is gas, because not only do you mean gas as in short for gasoline, as in fuel, but it's also an acronym that I've used, where it's a matter of how much you care about the moment. And does Tommy even care as much as he did in 1993? I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not. He's just hanging out, having fun, playing foosball. He wants to win, yeah, sure. And he knows he's probably going to in this match. Probably not really worried about the opponent, and it's nothing to do with them. Stuartini, no offense, but this is Tommy Atkinson. And he's playing with Ken Gabriel, by the way, no slouch himself.
Oh,
So Math is heavily in there. Yeah, he's one of the best. He's one of the best shooting goalies for sure, and also an amazing defensive. That's the longest spray I've ever seen in my life.
So the thing about Tommy, we've had these conversations, right? And he talks about a match where Bobby Diaz, and he was sleeping, and they were going to beat him. And Brian Moore and Bobby Diaz start talking to him, and he had a callback to the '90s, and he just like crushed Bobby and Ryan in some open doubles event. I think it was 2017 or something. And the problem with guys like Tommy, and frankly, guys like Tony and guys like Blake, they're always managing their burnout. Like, do I have the adrenaline? And then you see a guy like Brandon. I don't know if you saw the open singles final, and we had the opportunity to hear the commentary, and Terry Rue was texting me live. Terry basically said, look, you're going to play Brandon Munoz and even Kevin, but mostly Brandon. He starts ball one like it's match ball.
Yeah.
He brings fire on ball one like he's losing the match ball.
Yeah.
And he fights. And if you don't come with that same energy, you're going to be playing behind the whole time, which Blake did, and he lost. So Tommy, you're right. He's going through the motions. He'll probably win this match with his C game half speed, but he pays for it later when he meets up against a team that has immediate fire, and Tommy's got to look for it and dig for it because the adrenaline's not there,
Yeah, I agree with that. We kind of talked about that when you were hiding from us in the last couple matches. That's Costa Rican foosball too. Like, that's how they play. I care as much on ball one as I do on ball 20. Like, there's no like ramp up time. It's like drag racing, dude. Drop it in gear and go. And whoever's got the most engine, and you can't crash and burn on the way, because then you lose. But if you can hang in there, contain it, control the game, control the ball, control your shots, all that stuff, it's a force to be reckoned with. Question in the chat here. I'm not sure if you have the chat open. I'll read it for you. See if you have an opinion on it. It says, do you consider everything in the inner game of tennis, which is a book, superstition? We may have different definitions of superstition.
No.
Oh, I'll answer this because he's saying that I was calling something superstition. I've never read that book, but Mike Archer out of Dallas swears by it, and so I'll say that it's a good book. And I don't know if it's superstition or not, but I believe in the mental aspect of sports.
Let me speak to it. I've read that book more times than I can count. I used to read it before every major that I went to, and it's not superstition at all. What the inner game of tennis preaches is there's a point where the muscle memory is there, and overthinking only restricts execution. That's not superstition at all. I mean, the studies on penalty goal soccer kicks, there's a great published paper out that studies what happens to motor activity and mental brain function during soccer penalty kicks, and how these typically easy shots for these guys and gals to do, like hitting the corner of the goal, they could do it over and over when there's no pressure. But you add the pressure, and all of a sudden the ball's going way far left, way far right, and it's because they're using parts of the brain that they don't typically use when they're practicing. And what the inner game tries to do is it attempts to bring you to that headspace where it's just like practice. You're actually playing under pressure the same. This is what Frederic Collignon does. He can execute the same way when it's 4-4, the way he can when it's 0-0. And that's the difference between a true master and a pro. So I'd say the inner game of tennis is the furthest thing away from superstition. It is way more about mental strength, mental toughness, and being in the moment, not thinking yourself out of execution. I think
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm reading the next question. So, I think a lot of ritual is about trying to stay. I think we're talking about different things. It's easily to get convoluted.
I agree.
I think things can get habitual. Like you see Blake wiping the table out of force of habit. I think it's different to be force of habit and to focus in on something with intention.
Well,
Go
it's
ahead.
consciousness versus subconsciousness.
I think that's right.
Are you doing it with intention or are you doing it out of habit?
That's right. I agree. That's 100% right. Yeah.
And I guarantee if you ask Blake, hey man, why are you rubbing the top of the table? I don't know. It's just because I do.
Yeah.
And if he didn't do it and he lost a match, if you said, hey man, did you know that you didn't rub the table and you lost the match? He'd be like, shut up. It's coincidence. I don't think it contributes to my winning or losing. Like, you're an idiot. I guarantee you. So that is where superstition and rituals, I think, vary. I don't know. Ritual I agree with the idea of doing something that's part of a routine. You know, you have your breakfast at this time of day, you do this at that time of day, and all that stuff. That I'm down with routines. But there are people in baseball who literally think that if the pitcher drags his foot across or steps on the foul line,
Doesn't brush his teeth. Remember that dude
doesn't
always
do
brushed
yeah,
his
they
teeth?
people will. Oh, I won a game. I can't change shirts because it's my lucky shirt. That's mental illness. Because it's not based in reality. So
Well, let me give you an extra layer. You want to get deep. Here's where it gets weird. Okay, here's where I agree with you. Like with just the facts. These are like real hardcore
Nice
facts.
pass,
So
by the way.
I know we're not talking about foosball much. I'll just say one quick thing before we start getting focused back on the match, which is what 3-2 now with a 1-0 lead. Tommy and Romatini.
Yep.
Romas.
Stuartini.
If you start getting into quantum mechanics and how your beliefs can actually influence, the perception and how your perception starts affecting, quantum chains, then you get into weird spots, man. This conversation starts taking a weird turn.
Yeah.
But I guess we could stay out of that space. I think.
Well,
Go ahead.
There is something to be said about things that are similar to the placebo effect, where if you believe it's possible to be real.
Yeah.
I don't think I love that pass, by the way. Sully wears that pass out, by the way. That little 2 to the 2.
Yeah.
The second man on the
Yes.
5 But
Yeah.
going back to the other thing, if you believe something enough, you can. If you go into a match thinking I'm going to lose, I don't have a chance. You've lost before it begins. So I think to some extent, yeah, you can influence the outcome by simply thinking wrong, thinking incorrectly, or thinking negatively. And if that's true, then the opposite has to be true with positivity, right? But I don't think it's as important as people think. I don't think you can just go in there and win a game based on your mindset. You can't be like, I'm better. I guarantee you walk up to the table and play Tony, you can think all you want about how good you are. And I'm putting my money on Tony. I don't care how big your thoughts are. You're not going to win.
You may play better. You may play out of your mind.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tommy's been wearing out that. Tommy's been wearing out that brush down and Romatini. Is it Romas? What'd you call it?
Stuartini.
Stuartini. You
Yeah.
murdered it. Stuartini is hacking from that back 3 rod and getting close. There it is. He wants to do it. You see what he's doing?
He's doing a lot of like pickup games here. Pickup game strats
Is
here.
he asking for a call to give him a
No,
ball?
he's asking if he jarred Tommy, which he did. Tommy's going to take it on his 5-bar. Tommy wasn't going to say
Look at
anything.
Kane smiling. See, these guys
Yeah.
don't know we have a camera on their faces right now,
Right.
do they?
Well-
Because you can see the crap-eating grin on their faces when they get a call like that.
No, he did jar him. It's just that it doesn't matter in this match, I think, in their opinion. Because Kane passed it up to Tommy's 3-bar, and Stuartini jammed the wall. And I don't think Tommy or Kane was going to
They're going to ask
say
for it.
anything.
No,
Yeah,
no.
the forward from the other team said, did we get you, or something like that. Did the goalie get you? And they said yeah. So
Are they looking at are they looking at themselves right now? Did we create like this really egomaniacal thing? Where people
it's
are gonna-
possible. They're not looking at me. I don't have a camera on me. But anytime you see Kane smiling in a match, it's a rare event. He's not the smiliest player there ever was, and he's one of my favorite players to watch, by the way. So I don't mean that as an insult.
No,
He's very serious. He's very focused. He's very intense. And
Yeah, I love that about his game. The game misses a lot of that intensity.
Yep.
Stuartini.
This might be the first three rod shot that I've just seen him set it up and
No, he
shoot
shot
that.
He shot a pull shot. Roll.
No, I mean
rollover.
the rollover.
Yeah.
I maybe we were talking about tennis or something.
No, you think you're right. That's the first time I saw him shoot a rollover too. He was a pull shot before.
Well, that's the first time I saw his hat come into the picture. Oh, that's a nice pass that Tommy didn't catch. That was really slick, just tic-tacking it around and just softly putting it down to the 3-bar.
Stuart Teeney's going to be in trouble now because that 3-bar. Tommy's going to start catching him.
Yeah, and that's one of those. He's just kind of. I mean, he's clearing the ball though. I don't know what the stats are on his 2-bar clearing, but he's clearing the ball. This is not a clear because it goes to Tommy's 5-bar. And by the way, a ref at a table would have called that because he took his right hand off the rod. The Stuart Teeney's forward did right when Tommy went to pass that. But I don't know. Wow, what? I don't know what the numbers are on. That's just brutal on the clearing for yellow, but they're pretty good. They got to be good. They look good.
I like this camera view of the players' faces. I think it adds another dimension because when you're at a match, often sometimes you do or you don't realize that you're looking at the players' reactions
I like
more
this
than you
too.
watch. Yeah.
I don't know who's at the event there, but whoever keeps walking around the main table's camera, is it somebody that's is there like stands or something up there?
Yeah. So
Got a little wiggle going on.
We gotta tell Ashley, whoever's walking around is like Bigfoot because it's actually like Jurassic Park right now.
Yeah, it's pretty shaky. In the chat, we have Daniel Burr saying I played in St. Louis. When did they change the rule of serving the ball versus placing the ball? That would have probably been a good 12 years ago, maybe. Wow, did you see that?
He looked like he was going to score on himself. That's why everybody's
Wow.
kind of stunned. That's a good one. If you ever want to get a good clear on Tommy Atkinson, pass it backward, and right before it goes in your goal, hammer it with the middleman on the 3-bar.
Yeah.
Back 3-bar. And you're going to get something good's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hot tip.
Don't tap the table, Tommy. Don't do it. See, that's a world-class Hall of Famer move right there. He
But he
slops
said
one
sorry,
in.
though. He said sorry, though.
No, he didn't. You can't
Yes, he
prove it.
did.
I didn't hear it. Nobody
Yeah,
else
he
did either.
did.
We don't have closed captioning. Nothing says sorry anywhere in the history of ever. I saw his hands, and his hands did not tap the table.
Sorry. He said sorry.
Well, maybe in your language, but in mine.
I think the best sorry you'll ever get, if you're lucky to get one, if Steve Murray gets a slop on you and he says sorry, it's like the most sarcastic sorry you could ever imagine.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's good defense, Clay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah.
Gosh, dang it. That's another one he'll do. Gosh, dang it. Tap the table. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Tap the table.
Good defense, Clay. How's my Steve Murray impression?
That's really good. Oh man. Oh,
hey, whoa.
Yes, see, this guy's fun. I
Kinda
like
like
Stuart
that.
Teeney. I want to play with this
kinda
guy.
like that.
Where this
Yeah.
guy is, I just want to see what he does. Wow, that was
That's
brutal.
Kane. There will be no joy in this game. Kane is going to score it on you. And yeah, there you go.
Kane reminds me of a time I was at a San Francisco Giants baseball game, and there was one of those, someone inflated a ball or like something that was floating around, and a guy grabbed it and he put a knife into it.
Whips out a 1960s switchblade with a leather jacket and just
And people
jabs
were
it
just
right
like-
in the
People
ball.
were just like, ah.
And nobody has the
Yeah.
nerve to say anything
No,
about
no.
it because they're scared of him.
Yeah. He just put it, knifed it. That was it. End of the joy. No more balls.
Yeah, that's funny.
Game over. That's Kane Gabriel, by the way. He has the knife.
Yeah. I mean, get your fat food, your beach ball out of here.
It's
I'm in a baseball game. I like watching him and Mario Arganello play. They play Worlds together every year, and they are, first of all, they're really good. They're always deep in that tournament,
Yeah.
and if they're in a match, you know it, you hear it,
Yeah.
and it's exciting to watch. I love it.
Seems like a dying breed, man.
Yep.
It's like maybe some of the last. I think they're Gen X. I think, kind of, right?
I don't know. I think it's right on the edge there.
Yeah.
Right on the edge there, because I I think, yeah, Gen X. I don't know what they're talking about here, but we've got a slight delay. Is there something going on at another table there? Or?
You're having a little fun.
Yeah. By the way, the table is, the camera is much more stable now, so thank you for solving that problem. Whoever that was, that's greatly appreciated. That is the first 2-bar shot that we've seen from Stuartini. All the other ones have been goalie rod shots. I missed it already after one up, and quick as that. He said that was a lot of fun. Bet it was. It's a 3-0 shellacking by Tommy Atkinson.
I think he outscored the forward though.
Possible. And that's nothing to be ashamed of, by the way. These are legit world champion contender players that you're playing in round 2 or something like that. I mean, that's a tough match. People watch videos and they watch Inside Foos and they see these players and they go, wow, Tony's good. Wow, Ryan's good. Wow, Todd's good. Wow, Kane is awesome. Wow, Blake is amazing. All these things. It's sometimes hard to just realize how good they are until you're on the table against them. And then you realize, oh, wow, this is actually impossible.
Check these stats out. Clay, what are you seeing? Talk to me.
I'm seeing we got a 3-rod conversion rate on each week. Wow, I'm surprised. So Stuartini went 3 for 6 actually. So that's 50%. That's usually good enough to win a match. 50% is going to win more often than not. And then on the other side, we have 38%, which is most of the time never going to win. However, 3 for 6 means he only got 6 possessions in 3 games. You're probably never winning a match when you only have 3 shots per game. So that's tough. Tommy going 5 for 13. Again, he had double the possessions and almost double the scores. So I don't know. Actually, I don't know about them. I don't know. So it's just a volume thing at that point. 5-bar passing, again, pretty low on the left side, 38%, and then 50 on the right. I don't know what these parenthetical numbers are. The 30, the negative 30 pp, or the +4 pp. So that would be fun to have that explained.
Yeah.
5-rod block and steal from the 5-rod. I guess that's 5-bar defense.
Yeah. 5-rod block and steal.
It's pretty abysmal on the left side of the table at 1 of 14, and also terrible on the right side of the table. Frankly, 1 of 8. So I guess 5-bar passing was pretty good that match. 5-bar pass to the 3-rod and score. That means you pass it and score it, and the other team doesn't touch it. There was 1 on the left and then 4 on the right. That's a brutal stat, by the way. That's one that I track when I do stats.
So these are the first game. You notice it's the first tab. It's the first game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when I'm getting a message from Dave now, who's incredible with this stuff.
Oh, these aren't match stats. This is game 1 stats.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel better because I'm thinking,
point.
holy crap, you're not. Yeah, that's tough to win. Yeah, all right.
So he's saying 30 plus 33 percentage points. So PP is percentage points, plus 33 percentage point. That shows the delta on the game. The last column in the last image is the match stats. So the last column on the last image are the match stats.
Okay, so this is not the last image of the. I guess that was sent. This was round 4. There are 64 teams and a 60. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for that, Alan. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So that's the number 1 seed versus the number 64 seed, which is why I say there's nothing to be. There's no. That's how that match is supposed to go, frankly. Who's Ninja says I'm Gen X and 41. Same here. I'm 42. What's the most common age of foosball retirement? I think people phase out of foosball either really early or really late. I don't think it's very common to quit around 40. I think you either quit at like 25 or 30, or you just never quit.
I want to look at these stats in a second, but I think it's comical to call it retirement since it is an expensive hobby. Mm-hmm. The other comical description is professional, because typically that's defined as someone who's makes a living and is paid off of their craft.
The anger and rage that you have about those terms are on par with how I feel about table tapping.
Yeah. All right, what are we looking at here? 3-rod conversion rate. Romatini and Stewart, 1 for 6 in game 1. Mm-hmm. 3 for 6 in game 2. 1 for 6.
So for the match, it was 5 of 18 on the 3-bar. If you go all the way to the right, it's 5 for 18. I'm gonna tell you right now. You're literally. If we can go back to that first.
Yeah, go back to that first one,
graphic
please.
there. You are, and I will say this with any amount of money that anybody's willing to bet me. You are not winning a match shooting 5 for 23 or whatever that was.
Ashley, can you go back to the prior image?
Some people tend to take a break because of family. They stop playing and then they might play again. But for the most part, people either they quit by their late 20s, early 30s, or they just never quit at all.
I'm trying to get Ashley to go back to the image before this one.
Yep. And she might have muted us. I would have, to be honest.
I just messaged her. Yeah. Let me see. What are the questions here? That's number one. Yeah. Well, let's see. Some people tend to take a break. Yeah. So there seems to be a similar theme when people take a break from foosball. Once you concede that you're playing an expensive hobby, you realize where your level of tolerance is for spending money playing foosball. Yeah. And some people, frankly, pick up less expensive hobbies. They decide golf is cheaper. Any number of things are cheaper, and that's a better use of time. All kinds of things come into play. And the story that was retold over and over when I was young was you had to make a decision if you were going to go to college or play foosball. So what's your decision? That decision got made to the left and right of me, or get a good job, stable job, and have a home life, or play foosball, because foosball still was $600 trip every time at least, and now it's probably more with plane flights. So I don't know, like you just your love for the game, and the love for the game never seems to go away. It lingers no matter what, but whether or not you play seems to be the differentiator. So.
Yeah, I think oftentimes people also quit because they ascend to a rank that is no longer enjoyable for them to play. So, for example, you have somebody who starts playing, they're a hot shot, rookie. They win, something here, something there, blah blah blah. They feel good. Even though you're not winning money, it's cool to go to tournaments and come home with something. And then they move up the ranks. They succeed to the extent that they're able to succeed in rookie, amateur, expert. Now they're pros, and guess what? It's not fun to play anymore because you're losing everywhere you go, because you're not going to win in pro events the way that you win in rookie, amateur, all that stuff. So I think that has a little bit to do with it too. People just stop winning and it stops being fun. And when they hit that pro division, now it's actually very difficult.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to enjoy because it's difficult to win. So. Yeah, I think that's a less commonly stated part of the difficulties of enjoying tournament foosball as a traveling player.
Well, I think where you're 100% on board, and Tommy, if you were listening, Tommy Brewer said the same thing before you arrived, and we talked about it last night. And you know my vitriol about being a pro. I'm a pro. I've been a pro for decades. A lot of people get promoted to pro, and if the social construct in your mind is it's a milestone to become a pro.
Yeah, which was me, by the way. I'll own that. I wanted to do that.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, look, there's many goals, but then you arrive there and you're like, so how did I get here? Mm-hmm. And now that I'm here, I'm horribly ill-equipped to compete at this level.
That wasn't me. I'm not owning that one.
Yeah, it's fine. No, I'm talking about, this is a lot of people that go through. When I say horribly equipped, you're going to pay a lot of money to play less events. You basically have less events, and you're paying more money, and some costs are exactly the same, but you're playing less against harder competition. I think that you heard no, maybe you didn't. We had a recent interview with Kelly Stites, the owner of Valley Dynamo Tornado, who is a competitive shuffleboard player, who plainly states that burnout was part of his issue because of double elimination events. And when you get into Swiss-style formats where you're playing more rounds, more matches, you at least have more intrinsic reward or gratification in competing longer and having more satisfaction in whether you win or lose. You got so that might help solve some things. People can play more rounds of foosball even when they lose. I think the other thing, though, that we probably all agree, the ranking system could be served to be moderated in a way that people are a different rank longer and grow more in their rank, I think.
Yeah, I think the biggest deal. I agree with all that. I think that it's you play less foosball. It's less fun because it's harder, and it's different. And then also similar to some of the things that I said. I also just think people. I think burnout is the result of not enjoying something enough. It's simple as that. Like if you have fun, have you ever had fun at something and get tired of having fun?
I don't think so. Did
Yeah,
you?
it's no. How could
yeah,
you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're just having fun and go, God, man, I got to stop having all this fun. I need to go back to being miserable a little bit. Like that's crazy. Nobody
know.
does that.
I hear
So it stops being fun, dude.
the WY whatever 10 he or she makes a great point. Too many participation points instead of achievement points. It's exactly true. I think there's a lot of participation points in foosball, and they'll turn
Yeah.
you into a pro.
I suppose. I mean, I think if we're being honest about it, what are you actually achieving if you achieve points? So if you have, let's take money out of it. If you're not winning money, what are you winning? So who cares what it's called? I mean, even if they're achievement points, what are you actually getting? I mean, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, what is it saying to say that people are getting participation points or participation trophies or whatever versus getting something tangible? Nothing in foosball in terms of payout matters unless you're Tony and you win everything. But otherwise,
Unless you're going to the Thunderdome, baby. What about
or
the
unless
Thunderdome?
you're going to the, you're really good at weaving that back into the conversation. I'll say if talking had ranks, you would not be an expert or an
master,
amateur.
baby.
You'd be pro. You'd be maybe rolling up on pro master because you're wiggling that you're wiggling that back in there quite easily.
Yeah,
quite
I'm
smoothly.
going to try to hook you. The demand is there for a Pro Master version. The masters that want a Pro Master version of that, and that's one you can play in. And I
Well-
think it's. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can play in it, but I mean, let's be honest. Am I winning that? Do you think so? You're not putting money on me.
What I think. Here's what I think. The designated is an event where the lowest rated player plays forward, and then what I would do if I was Clay is I look at the ratio. Are there a bunch of experts in this event? I mean, did a bunch of experts make it in? Am I going to play goalie for some garbage expert? And then it's like, but if it's all
so it's
pros
going to
and
be open to everybody. It's not going to be limited to pro and up.
It's limited to pro and master. But what happens
okay.
is a pro can pick an expert partner. What are you going to do? Like a pro says, if a pro gets an expert sponsor, I
Yeah.
had the same issue 20 years ago. So,
Okay.
That's
experts, interesting then.
Yeah, experts get in, and that changes the dynamic, right? But let's imagine the ratio of experts is 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're a
That's a
low
percentage,
rated
by the
pro,
way, not a ratio. A ratio would be 9-1.
okay, fine, Mr. Math and your math and your
Tommy's brain
Excel,
just
and
exploded
your Excel
somewhere,
spreadsheets.
and he doesn't know why.
But the point being, if you're a low rated pro,
Yeah.
and there's some small portion of experts, you have a high probability to get a master goalie.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's Swiss, you have a probability to play with. If it's 7 rounds of Swiss qualifying, you may have 5 master goalies. And if you think that gives you a good shot, that's a good reason to play. Now they change things. The singles get tough, right? I mean, you get the singles bracket with like 58 masters and pros. That's another tough thing to deal with.
So you could theoretically have somebody win the Thunderdome as an expert and then also win the Thunderdome twice.
Theoretically, yes.
Theoretically.
Evan McGregor, an amateur, could win both events. Theoretically.
Yeah. Is he an expert?
He's an amateur.
Okay. Well then,
Yeah.
I mean,
the probability is almost zero, dude. Like, almost zero. Like a pro is gonna win. And that's why there's money in the other 3 events. The money helps moderate the experience because